All right, YouTube, how you? Big Lou tapping back in with what it do with Big Lou. NFZR2. You already know, first time coming to the channel, be highly appreciated if you sub, like, and share the channel with your family, your friends, your folks, your gente, your peoples. Be highly appreciated. Also, feel free to leave a comment. I'll respond back to all the comments. As you know from the thumbnail, we got Harvey from Harvey Talks Prison back for interaction part 2. Bit of shot, yeah, because a few people said it wasn't even like an interview, that it was just flowing, like like we were just kicking back somewhere talking.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I like that better than
I do too.
Than the interview. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he's here.
It's kind of like he's comparing the prisons, and just talking about our different experiences. Wanda should be coming in here in a minute.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Wanda. I got the email, and then what is it? Instagram? Yeah, Instagram. So I was like, at first I didn't get it. I was like, who? I was trying to figure out who is this, right? Because I put it together afterwards. It was a picture of her son, and then I'm like, wait a minute, the name ain't fitting. The name's not fitting the picture, right? So I'm like, and then when I hit it, and then that's when I realized, oh, okay, you know what I mean? It was Wanda. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I just think we know he's live because she's been waiting. And,
so is Jamie Rupert. They were
Texas
like, when I put it down.
Texas they were like, what? He probably gave up on us.
No, another one. Yeah, another one. Another one. Texas Royal Flowers. Yeah. TX. Yeah, that's right. So, anyways, what's good about this though is a lot of times, I might not get a lot of people in the lives, but I end up getting people that come back and view it. You know what I mean? After it's uploaded. So, it's I don't have a big chat. I don't have a big channel yet. It's still growing, but I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that subs and taps in, and you know what I mean, and watches it later, because people are they're in different parts of the country. Some people are in different parts of the world, and the hours are different. There's TX Royal Flowers there. Texas is here, and Yankees for life. He's from Texas also.
Oh,
What's up, Yankees? Yeah, he's from Texas too. Yeah, so Texas got a pretty big following. You know what I mean? I got been following people from Texas. There's about 4 or 5 that tap in. So you know what I mean? It's cool. That's what I like about this YouTube. You meet people from all over. Not only the United States, but overseas too. Adam from Australia. Jerry Gambuti, he's from Australia. There's a lot of different people. New Zealand, Ireland, Scotland, England. You know what I mean? They all tap in, so that's cool. You know what I mean?
I can't wait for you to do that interview or whatever you guys do with Adam. That's going to be awesome. Yeah,
we got to figure out, because the time is so different. Like yesterday, I was messaging him. We were in a different. I forgot what channel we were at, but we're in the chat, and he was like, "It's already." It was a couple days ago. He's like, it's already Wednesday here, whatever time it was at the time. And I'm like, man, it's still Tuesday over here. And it's like, I think it was 6:11 here PM. And it was like the next day, whatever time it was, you know what I mean? But it was the same minute.
He's probably 12, 13 hours ahead of you, because he's 15 hours ahead of me. How you doing, Yankees for life?
Yeah, I thought it was like, wasn't it like 19 hours, I thought?
No, it's 15 hours ahead of me.
Okay, so then it would be 17 for me then, right?
Right, so it's like 9:53 in the morning, the next morning, tomorrow over there for him.
Right. So we got to figure out how to, how to set it up. We're gonna have to figure out how to, when's the best time. You know what I mean?
And you're 2 hours behind me, right?
Right. It's almost 5 here. It's 4:54 right now.
So he's 13 hours ahead of you.
Okay, 13 hours. So yeah. So it's a whole day. Depending what time it is.
No, he would be.
15,
he'd
right?
be 17 hours
17.
ahead of me.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, you're 15. I'd be 17. Right.
Yeah.
So we gotta figure that out. But yeah, I want to bring him on as another guy from Ireland that I he had told me a little bit about his stories, and I said, hey, you come on too, man. If you don't want to show your face, we'll figure that out. You know what I mean? But some people don't want to show their identity. You know what I mean? Which
Right.
you know what I mean. So we'll have to figure that out. But
I've
another
had
kid
several people that don't want to come on because they don't want to have the camera on them. Well, I told them you can do it without the camera. You can do just
Right.
audio.
Right. Yeah. So he hasn't gave me an answer like yes or no, but he after I sent him that message, he messaged me back. So I don't know. We'll see. And then another youngster, he's out of Scotland. He's done some time over there too. So he emails me. He shows his face. So I haven't really asked him yet. But yeah. See, Yankees are saying Jerry Gambuti is 15 hours ahead of me. So Jerry Gambuti's also he's in the same town that Adam lives in. What is it? Sydney, I think. Yeah. Sydney, and so Yankees is in Texas. But I think Yankees is only an hour difference from me. I think.
No, he's same as me. Same as me.
But some parts of Texas it's only an hour though.
Yeah, but he said 15 hours, and that's what I am.
So that would be the same as you, yeah. Okay. So what time is it right now, Yankees? Where you're at? Is it 6:56? Agnostics is in the house. So Agnostics is a New Yorker. See, that's what I'm saying. I like this because we got people from Texas in here, from New York. You know what I mean? I'm from Cali. You're from Missouri. You know what I mean? It's cool. It goes on and on. With different states. I got a guy that watches a lot from Denver. Another guy who lives in Arizona. You know what I mean? Florida, people from Florida. So it's cool. Also, obviously New York. All of Texas is the same time, 7 p.m. here. Okay. I thought he had told me it was an hour. I thought somebody had told me it was only an hour difference. Well, I know Arizona, and maybe I'm getting Arizona confused with Texas right now.
Probably so.
Yeah, it must be. Because I could have swore somebody told me that some parts of Texas it's only an hour difference. Because I was always in the impression 2 hours, but anyways. So we got Marky Mark tapped in. What's up, Marky Mark? Yeah, Marky Mark from Southern Cal. So yeah, we left off last time. We didn't get to talk too much about the walls. Is that and you spell that? How do you spell that? Is it just like WALLS, or is it?
With a capital W, and it was called that. It was a nickname that by both the guards and the people incarcerated there called it that.
So what's the actual name of the facility?
Missouri State Penitentiary.
Oh, okay.
And
right, I remember that now.
But the Times magazine called it the bloodiest 47 acres. Because it just it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you had guards that was setting people up. Some guy could go to a guard and said, "Hey, man, I need to get over here and talk to somebody." The guard, he knows what's up, and they'll let him through, and he'll go in there and beat the guy or whatever, stab him or whatever.
Yeah.
They got a kick out of that,
Right. And so now, because I seen that video that you went back in because for everybody that don't know, it's no longer open. But do they do tours like Alcatraz or okay? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you went back in there and actually, for those who don't know, Harvey went to his old cell. Actually, went to his old cell and standing in the cell and took a picture in there. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. So that that's like surreal, I guess you could say, right? You probably thought you never were gonna get out. You done time at this facility that was crazy and a lot of killings and such things as that. It kind of has to me. I've never been there, but you obviously you have. But it's like it's got that Alcatraz type feel to it. You know what I mean? Since,
it's got like a castle feel to it. All the old buildings are made out of granite. That was made by they had inmates building it. Back when it was first, in the 1800s.
Right. Yeah, so we got Sea Dog tapped in. He's in Mexico.
We got Stay Awake TV.
Stay Awake TV tapping in from Ohio. See?
Yeah.
What's going on, Sticks?
I haven't seen Sticks in a while, man. I'm glad to see him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's got he's got a good channel.
He does.
You know, especially when he tells his story. You know, that his story. It's not me and his stories are different, but there are people that I know that I grew up with that his story reminds me of their story. You know what I mean? Where
what I like about all these different channels is everybody has their own unique style of telling a story. You know, and I like the way Sticks tells his stories, just like I like the way Jay tells his. You know, Lance, the way you tell your stories. You know, everybody has their own style.
Right. So
yeah, literally behind bars. Marky Mark says literally behind bars and Folsom. That's just like MSP, you know.
Right. So Folsom and San Quentin are the only two actual penitentiaries in California because they have bars.
Yeah, and they're still running though, right?
Right. They're still running.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have bars, and really technically they're the only two penitentiaries. All the other prisons have the steel doors, or they have the honeycomb type of the honeycomb or the mesh type doors where you can see through them. But San Quentin and Folsom are the actual only penitentiaries because they have bars. Yeah, so that was good. Yeah, he brought that up. A lot of people don't even know that.
Right.
This thing, what's going on?
Yeah, this thing, what's going on?
Yeah. So the walls is like one of those joints, like the one in New Jersey, I think it's called Rollway, or that might be Philadelphia. They got one in not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They got that one in New Jersey where you hear a lot of stuff about it. The one in Massachusetts, Wall House or something. I forgot exactly what it's called. But JM, what's going on, man? There's Jamie.
We got Jamie in
here. I finally found you guys. Hello. I've been looking for this live for about an hour now. Yeah, that's what I was explaining. I got out of whack. I fell asleep and never thought I would have slept a couple hours like that. But now I feel normal. Earlier I was feeling like still kind of, groggy.
I'll tell you a little story about this to give you some idea of how the guards are at MSP. I was coming back from chow with this guy, and we're joking and kind of cussing one another. Oh, fuck you, just joking, And I get in my cell, and here comes this lieutenant. Now, this lieutenant likes fighting everybody. He fights, the prisoners. He fights the guards. He don't care. He'll fight anybody. And he comes up to my cell, and he says, "Pop 297." So they pop my door, and he comes in. He takes his badge off, sits it down on my like a little shelf thing. He goes, "If you got a problem with me, we can go right now." And I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." He goes, "You cussed me out a while ago." I said, "I didn't cuss you out." And yeah, he did, coming up the steps. I said, "I was talking to the guy with me." He goes, "Are you scared of me?" I said, "No." He says, "Do you think you can whoop me?" I said, "I don't know. I heard you're pretty good with your hands." He goes, "Well, I'll tell you something. Next time you feeling froggy, just jump." And after he left, guy next to me, he says, "Man," he says, "if you would have fought him," he goes, "one or two things would happen." He said, "If he would have won, you would have took a hell of an ass whooping." He said, "But if you would have beat him," he said, "they would have drug you down to 5C, cuffed, feet and hands, and they would just beat the shit out of you." He goes, "So either way, you was gonna lose."
Right. Yeah, I've heard stories like that in different situations, states, and different areas, and even California. I've heard old timers say things like that cops would take their badge off and in their holster, their waist, the belt. They'll take that off and get them up. But me personally, I've never seen it. I've seen cops talk shit and all that. COs talk shit and stuff like that. And I seen them. If you get mouthy, I seen them call other cops over there, and they did that to me one time. They chicken winged me, which I wasn't even talking shit, man. I got played by my cousins, right? It was the first time I was in jail, and we were in the booking area, and and my cousin, he's got 2 years on me, but it was when I walked into the booking, it was like I was at home. I seen like 4 or 5 guys in there that I knew really well, and then a couple that I didn't know all that well, but I knew them. And then my cousin was sitting in the booking when I walk in the jail, and so he tells me, "Hey, cuz," he goes, "Go tell him to change the TV." So I go up there like a dummy because they had like tennis on or something, and I'm like, "Hey, can you change it?" I go, "Can you change the TV?" The booking area is like this big old area where you can get up and go to the bathroom, you can get on the phone, you get water, you can stand up for a minute or whatever, and then but if you become a nuisance, they'll handle you, right? So anyways, I go up there and I ask the cop, the CO, I say, "Hey, can you change the TV?" And he goes, "TV don't change," right? And he had an attitude. He was a younger CO, and so I go back to my seat. Well, as I round the aisle where I'm sitting, I glance over there at him, and he's staring at me. So I just looked a little bit, like back, and he tells me, "Come here." Before I even get back up to the front, man, cops came from everywhere and just grabbed me and just took me to the back and chicken winged my ass. And I thought they were gonna break my arm, right? And luckily the cop, his name was Johnson. He had two stripes. He was a training officer or whatever. He tells him, the cop named Norris, he said, hey, ease up on his arm, man. You know what I mean? If he didn't say that, who knows what had happened? They probably would have broke my arm. You know what I mean? And they tell me, "Don't get up off the floor until we get out of here and shut the door." And I was like, damn, I couldn't even get up anyways. My arm was, you know what I mean? It took a minute for me to get the feeling back in my arm. I didn't even get up for about 2-3 minutes. That shit was funny.
Marky Mark made a remark. He says, CO like that would got poked up. And I always wondered about that guy. How come nobody's never stuck him, Because he was a piece of shit.
The lieutenant?
Yeah. I mean, he would beat up COs in the parking lot and, and all kind, or sometimes even in the prison. But a lot of times he'd wait until they got off work. And he was always challenging inmates to fights, And so I was always wondering, man, why come somebody never just stuck that dude, Yeah. Everybody else was getting stuck,
Probably he just didn't get the right. He just didn't mess with the right one.
Right.
Maybe he was. Maybe he picked and chose. Really, he knew more than what he was. Maybe he was bullying on people that weren't about it. Because a lot of people will. They'll stick somebody, but then when it comes to a cop, man, it's a different type of charge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Usually when you do that, all these cops show up and they're in defense of their coworker, their fellow officer,
they're gonna beat your ass too.
Yeah, they're gonna fuck you. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're gonna hog tie you. They're gonna drag you through the hallways, letting your head hit the walls as they're carrying you. They might put you on one of them gurney things and then tip you over, let you fall off. And then they're gonna put the boot to you once they get to where you're going. I don't know if they carried billy clubs back then in that prison or not. I don't know. Yeah, they probably
they had billy clubs, these big like nightsticks or whatever you want to call them, and they had these big long flashlights, and they would beat your ass.
Yeah. So just imagine that. I mean, you could take some boots and some fists to the head and to the. I don't know if they would hit you in the face, but I just imagine they're gonna tear your body up, right? Maybe they don't want to put marks on your face. I don't know, but they're definitely going to tear your body up.
They would, have you all bound up so you couldn't move or anything. And they'd put these phone books, these big, thick phone books on you. And what it would do, they'd hit you with these nightsticks and it would hurt you, but it wouldn't leave any bruises.
Right. Yeah, right. They do what they got to do, right? Happy Thanksgiving to all. God bless. Likewise, Yankees. See, Rikers. See, Agnostic says Rikers had a few COs that would fight straight up. Yeah, see, I never got to see any of that. And he said COs should always remember there is more terrible times in prison system. Yeah. There's
Yeah.
some guys that would there's some guys that'll do it, man, you know.
Yeah.
The worst thing I ever seen was a dude just taking off on a cop, you know, with his hands. You know what I mean? And just bombing on somebody with his, you know, with his hands. That was my last term. I guess I knew the guy. I didn't know him all that well because we were from different sides of the state. But I knew him by his name. You know, I knew him from another prison. He was the canteen guy over there. So when one of my peoples was in the canteen, he paroled. And he told me, "Hey, you can use this guy or this guy to get in there. Just put their name on top." You know what I mean? And basically, you just pay them $2 to get in there. You know, they'll get you in there quicker. And so that's how I knew him from another term, from another prison. And then when I drove up to that prison, he was there. And I just, like, in passing, "What's up, Hector? How you doing?" And then we just passed. And I noticed one day he was tripping, man. He was walking by himself. That's unusual because you're supposed to stay in twos, right? Usually we stay in twos, and then they usually say guys from down south stay in twos too. But this day he wasn't, and I knew something was kind of weird. His face, he had a different demeanor to him. And what happened was when they did an inline, he went right in there, man, to another building, that building that I lived in. He didn't live in it. And he went right in there, man. He got the cop that was in there. And luckily for the female cop, she saved him. They really kind of stay in line in Cali State Pen. It's kind of a respect thing. You got to really be doing some hot shit to have a CO put hands on you. Yeah, they'll talk shit and all stuff like that. The ones that ain't professional, you know what I mean? But yeah, you don't really see that.
Yeah, he's right though.
Always seen a lifer take off. Yeah, that guy was a lifer that took off on the cop. But taking off on the cop and stabbing the cop is two different things, right?
Well, I'm talking about his last remark. It's not so much nowadays, but back at the walls, you didn't stop until, you know, they came and knocked you off of them, you know. Like if you was beating the guy down, you don't get up and let him get up, you know.
Right.
You just keep going until they stop you.
Right. And they you know, they spray you with spray, and then they got I've seen this many times where a guy won't stop. You know, they're saying, "Get down," you know, prone out, get down. And the guy keeps going. He's on top of somebody just beating on him. And what they do is they got those new billy clubs where they go like this and it opens. You know, they go. Right. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, they go and it opens. And they're trained to hit you in the joints. You know, your elbows, your knees. And when they hit you, they're trained to hit you there. You know, it paralyzes you for a second, and then you lose feeling. You know what I mean? And then that's when they usually get off. You know, I got hit with a baton on my ankle. We were doing a removal and wouldn't get off of him. They told us to get down, and I didn't. Got hit and sprayed. Yeah, exactly what I just said. Yeah.
Right. See.
Yeah, our politics though, we don't stop till we get hit or sprayed. Yeah.
That's right.
And also, our and within the collective that I was with, it was mandated with the filter, you know, directives that came down saying that you're not to stop until like the fourth shot, you know, right. the block gun or the real gun. That's crazy. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Well, that's our politics, though. We don't. Yeah. Okay.
Well, the old heads always told me. He said, if you get somebody down and you're winning, just because you think you won, don't just get up. You're giving that guy a chance to get up and get you. You know, just keep going until they stop you. You know.
Right. Ignacio says, I forgot which joint it was. I believe it was Attica. The COs were killing guys and burying them. Wow.
Yeah, I believe it was Attica. I know what he's talking about. That's also where they had that riot at a long time ago, I believe, back in the 70s.
Right. Where the National Guards had to come in, or the Army. I forgot what it was.
Right, yeah.
That's our politics. Can't stop until we get hit or sprayed. Oh, yeah, I already read that one.
The last major riot in Missouri was in 1954 at the Walls.
That was the last major riot?
The major, yeah, you know, like big time riot, you know.
Like in New Mexico in Attica, where they try to take over the prison?
Where they took over the prison. They had to bring in the police and the National Guard and everything.
I don't know if that's ever happened in California. I'm not aware of that ever happening in California where they try to take over the whole joint. I know that the George Jackson thing back in San Quentin, his attorney snuck in a gun, and they tried to take off. They tried to get out. There was a few of them, but they ended up getting shot and killed. And prior to that, his brother George Jackson was like the leader of the Soledad Brothers. His brother and I'm not sure how many guys it was exactly, but there was a bunch of people that came into the courthouse of Marin, which is what San Quentin falls in, that county, and they had a hearing, and these guys stormed the courthouse, and they took the judge and the DA hostage, but they ended up killing them, and then it ended up being a shootout. And what they were trying to do was the judge for the prisoners, you know what I'm saying? But they don't do that. And so they end up having a shootout, and a bunch of them got killed. And then I'm not sure if it was before or after, but that's when they tried to break out of prison, and they shot a sergeant, and a couple guys got killed. That's the only thing I can think of that happened in California. You know what I mean? And it's such a small world that one of the guys that tried to break, that was at the courthouse, his name was Bill Christmas. My dad went to school with him.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's a small world, but
when I got to the walls, you know how they give you this speech, about what to do and shit, But anyway, there was like a handful of us there coming in, and when we was getting ready to leave, this one white shirt pulls me to the side, because I was like the youngest one,
Yeah.
He goes, "I'm going to give you some advice." He goes, "Get a knife." I said, "What?" I couldn't believe it. I said, "What?" He goes, "You're young. Get a knife." He goes, "If my life is in danger every day, yours definitely is. Get a fucking knife."
Wow.
And I was like,
"Yeah,
what?"
Yeah, you wouldn't think you'd hear that out of their mouth, right? Yeah. I've heard guys say, like, I think Chad, guys that come on Chad's channel, I've heard a few guys say that when they hit the R&R, the release and receiving area of the USP, it's got a different name. I'm pretty sure it has a different name than that, but that's the word we use in California, releasing R&R, releasing and receiving. That the officer there told him get a knife. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I heard it a few different times, and this is different facilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. And
Rikers riots were wild. The walls were covered in blood. The CO stabbed a paramedic. It was crazy. The CO stabbed a paramedic. Covered in blood. COs. Wow. I've seen pictures from Rikers. Yeah, Rikers is crazy, but Rikers is not a prison. It's like a county jail, but it's like one of the most notorious ones in the United States. Rikers Island.
Yeah.
Then you got LA County Jail. That's treacherous too.
I think LA County Jail is bigger than all of the prisons in Missouri. The biggest prison in Missouri doesn't even compare to it. That thing is huge.
Yeah, and then you got different facilities too in different areas. You got like Wayside. You got the main central jail.
Oh, it's not
you got different. No, they got different. They got the main central jail, and then they have Wayside, which is in like Santa Clarita, where the mountain. What do you call that? Magic Mountain's at. Six Flags. Yeah, it's a different area, so they bus guys to different facilities, but it's still big. I mean, the entity, the LA County Jail is it's the biggest. As far as population wise. Yeah, then you got Cook County, which is Chicago. That place is insane, man. You got I don't remember what the show was, but these guys were like they were some of them were ex-gang members, and now they're law enforcement, and they were working in the jail, and they were pulling a lot of like CIs, confidential informant, and these guys are giving them information on where guns are hidden on the street, because a lot of these gangs, like, they hide their guns in their alleys, in their neighborhoods. And so if anybody comes, they just, pull these weapons out. Everybody from the gang knows that the weapons are there. So you got guys going to jail that are telling they work for the jail, they work for the county. I guess there were sheriffs, deputy sheriffs, and they'd give them all kinds of information. Man, these guys were hitting the streets, but it just showed the wildness of Chicago. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I seen a pistol. The homie had a 22. That's the craziest shit I've seen in there. I seen cash too, thousands. One of the homies was getting it like that. He was getting paid in cash. Yeah, I seen cash in there. I've never seen a pistol, but I know that they've got him in there. I don't know who was giving him cash. He had a knot. Yeah.
I'll take it back. I haven't actually seen a pistol or anything, but I've seen people make zip guns.
Zip guns, yeah. Zip guns. Okay, he said, so yeah, LA County is Twin Towers and Wayside. So Wayside was the one I was speaking of. And then Twin Towers is, where's Twin Towers? Is that Linwood? They have a few different locations. I know that. LA County is fucking trash, man. The worst. Yes, the COs come in 3 days. I come in 3 days after I could still see the blood. It was weird. I've never seen the island so quiet. It's and then over there in Rikers Island, you're allowed to get clothes from your family. You can wear jewelry, your personal shoes. So the jewelry and the shoes is what catches people's attention, man. And they'll confront you and try to, whoop your ass and take your stuff, or they try to punk you.
That's the way it used to be at the walls too. You could have personal clothes sent in, and even in other prisons you could have like shoes sent in, and
right.
There was people getting beat up over their shoes and stabbed over their shoes and stuff. So they stopped allowing you to have shoes sent in or order shoes. So now everybody all wears these little cheap Rydell's they sell in the canteen,
Yeah, they limit the shoes, so that way everybody's got pretty much the same.
Right.
It doesn't spark off maybe getting other shoes. Anthony Muggs, what's going on, man? No, Twin Towers is literally middle downtown LA next to Chinatown. Okay, I think Linwood. Yeah, Linwood was the women's facility. I think. Yeah, so same thing. California, you used to be able to get your personal packages from your family. A lot of people be on food stamps. They can go and get all the different candies and what to pay with the food stamps. The candies, right. Your coffee, your pouch items. Such as tuna, things like that. And then same thing. They go down to the post office. They can't weigh more than 30 pounds. Then they weigh it. And they charge you whatever. And then they send it to the pin. But you could you could buy regular shorts. You could buy jeans, pretty much jeans, sweats, shorts, T-shirts, all that. They would put that in the box. Shoes, they get you shoes. They put that in the box, maybe a radio, but then the TV would be a different, called a special purchase because, obviously the TV is going to weigh more than your 30 pounds. You know what I mean? So
right.
They do it different with that. But, they outlawed that because, people were getting coffee and, they would take off the foil top, put all the balloons inside the coffee, where you couldn't see it. You just see coffee, and then they would seal back the top with the glue or whatever. And so a lot of dope was getting in there like that. So they ended up outlawing the personal packages, and they started using
right.
vendors. You know what I mean? And making a lot of money off that. They got a ton of vendors, man. When they first started with the vendors, there was only like maybe 2 or 3. During my, doing different times I've been in and out, every time I went back, there was more vendors. Now you had 10 different vendors, then it was 12, 15 different
right.
vendors. It's crazy, it's crazy.
He said they had steak greens. Missouri is steak grays. Yeah. And now the only thing that you can wear is you can buy sweats, like sweatpants. but they can't. They can only be like ash gray. You know what I mean? They can't be like blue or red because those are gang colors. You
Right.
know.
Yeah. Everything. Yeah. California, everything's gray.
Yeah.
They do sell. Everything's gray and white. Uh,
Right.
you can't wear. You can't even get the blue jeans no more.
Right.
They don't. They used to give you out. They used to give out blue jeans, state blues. We used to call them, and then they gave out the mailman's pants.
Right.
You can't get. They don't give those out no more. The button-up shirts, we don't get those no more. We got the pullover ones now. The cheap ones. It's a lot cheaper for them to get these than to have jeans made. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we get the we get the rinky-dinky pull-up pants with, they're like khaki material, but they're not khakis. They're blue, and then it says, in orange. I mean yellow. It says CDCR, and then down it says prisoner, and then the shirt, same thing on the back. It says CDCR, prisoner. And then it's baby blue still, pullover.
No, with ours you get like you said, the khaki gray pants, the khaki gray shirt. Of course, they give you a T-shirt and stuff too, and boxers. But all your clothes has got this little white tag on it. Have your name and number on it. And your pants, your shirt, and everything. It doesn't say anything down the side, but I've seen what you're talking about. The blue with the writing down the side of the leg, but it's not like that in Missouri.
Yeah, it's every state got their own colors. Like you said, New York's green. You said Missouri's khaki.
Yeah,
California's
khaki
blue. Yeah, California's gray baby blue with the dark blue pants. There's some other facilities the same way. You got some, it just depends where you're at, but that's majority of the, they got, every state got their own look, as far as their
own color. Yeah. Colorado is green too.
Green. I watched, I don't know what that was, Lockup, Lehman. They got Lehman State Prison.
Yeah.
Where they wear green. I seen the episode. This guy, there was two twin brothers, and the one guy got released, and the other brother was always getting cell extracted, and they was like, they always, they come with the camera, they do that for supposedly their own safety. They bring the camera and they just ram you with with the shields and stuff. And the brother was wild, man. He was a lot calmer now because he was older, but and
video after video of him doing cell extractions. You know what I mean?
Right.
Crazy.
He said,
it was crazy.
Reception oranges. Yeah. He's talking about the R&O oranges and, I think the orange jumpsuits, we had them when we was in R&R, R&O, not R&R. We call it R&O in Missouri. And then they put you in orange jumpsuits when you went to the hole too.
Let me tap out real quick and tap back in. I got a phone call and I could barely hear you. It knocked off my volume.
All right.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I agree, Mark. Blacks and greens, yep. I hate gray because Missouri was gray. I can't stand gray.
Can't stand gray? Yeah, I like gray. Because of the grays, I wear gray. As you can see, I got a gray Pro Club shirt. That's all I wear: gray, black, and white. You know what I mean? Different shades of gray. I got the darker gray Pro Club shirt, and I got this one because of my football team. You know what I mean? But
right, yeah, I can't because of the state grays that Missouri had. I don't really like gray. A whole lot. I'm sure you're tired. I'm sure you're tired of seeing blue.
Well, it is what it is. I would always, I would wear my.
Obviously, the chow to my. Oh man. Hold on. Got a call again. Hold on.
Lou got on his shower shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, but you know what you're saying about the colors. That's how I feel about bologna and pancakes. You know what I mean? Man, I don't like pancakes. I don't like pancakes, man. I don't dig them. I mean, don't get me wrong. I ate them recently, you know, like at Denny's, but for the longest there, I didn't want nothing to do with pancakes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Definitely no bologna. I never really like bologna unless I, you know, fried it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, somebody like my neighbor, he had some ramen soups, right? And he was holding. I thought he just did it to fuck with me. He goes, "Do you remember these?" I said, "Yeah, I remember those." And he goes, "You don't eat them no more?" And I said, "No, I don't eat them no more." I said, "Maybe once in a while I might eat one," but I said, "No, I really don't. I ain't ready to eat those right now. I ate them for 29 years."
Yeah. No, that's the thing with the ramens, though. I'm good on the ramens. I know just that peanut, that bologna, though, the smell of it, just the look of it. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
You know what
I
I
know
mean?
exactly what you're talking about.
But ramens, no, I'm good with ramens. I could whip me up something anytime. I ain't got no issue with that at all. But you know what I mean? You know, I'll whip up something, you know, a little type of spread thing with some chips and, you know, beans and mayonnaise and stuff with it. You know, maybe chop up, you know, hot dog or something, or even you know, summer sausage if I got it. You know,
you can't eat a ramen soup plain. No, you got to put stuff with it.
Well, we call that a butt naked, right?
Right.
You know, you tell somebody, "Oh, you gonna eat tonight? You gonna make some spread tonight?" Sometimes guys will say, "Oh, no, I'm just gonna have me a butt naked." You know, they'll just eat it by itself. Yeah. Well, I've done that where I've had, like, you know, pretty much just a soup, but I might just squirt some mayonnaise in it, or maybe if I had a piece of cheese or something, I'll put a piece of cheese in there. You know what I mean? But I've had plenty of butt naked. You know, I don't have an issue with that. You know, if I'm hungry, I'll just, you know, tear it up. You know,
I have to put something with it. You know, crackers or something. You know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or I forgot. Or I'll smash up some chips and put the chips in there, or some crackers in there. So it'll be still soupy. It'll be soupy, but you know, it'll have something in there. You know.
Right.
Jack Mac in the pouch. People actually ate it. Jack Mac in the pouch. I don't even know what that is. What's Jack Mac?
He's talking about mackerel.
Oh.
Yeah. They stopped selling. They stopped selling us the canned goods, you know, because people was hitting each other upside the head with them. So they started selling them in bags.
In the pouches. Yep.
Yeah, he's right about that.
Yeah, but I remember I was at a pin where they were still giving the can out, and it was a level 3. It was level 3. So there's California. There's only 4 levels. Level 3, level 4 are cell living most of the time, but there's like 1 or 2 joints that have level 3, and you're in dorms. But this one was cell living, and they were giving the can still mackerel. They went back to the can, man, and you got so much mackerel out of that thing. It was crazy. It was a lot.
Oh, they took the cans away, man, because we was hitting each other with them, you know. But hey, Michael, what's up?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, because they used to do that. You know, double the sock up, triple the sock up, put a can in there, and whoo, bam, right? Or then they start doing with the lock, right? Putting the lock in the sock, and then they started, after they took those away, then they started putting bars of soap in there, right? Some of the county jails don't allow you to have bars of soap because of that reason.
Right. You know, I'd rather get stabbed than get hit with a lock in the sock. I've seen people really messed up with a lock in the sock.
Yeah, it fuck you up, man. It'll split you open. You'll be bleeding like crazy. You know, and then depending where they hit you at, it's gonna knock off your equilibrium, right? You know, you get hit in the nose, you know, automatically it waters up your eyes. You know what I mean? You know, your nose is very sensitive. You know, that's why guys say, you know, hit them in the snot box. You know, it's a delicate. You know, that's a delicate, you know, piece of yourself right there. You know.
He said they took the bones out of the pork chops. They did here too. They took the bones out.
Wow.
Yeah, because people were sticking people with bones.
Yeah, we don't even get pork chops. The Muslims pushed hard on that, got it just taken out all the way off the menu and stuff. And then they started.
They took them out. They took the pork chop out, except for the holiday. You know, we still get them on holidays.
Yeah, we get all we get slop here.
Yeah,
we got like now it's all slop. Nothing solid no more. You know, everything's like mush. The way they prepare the food now. The only thing solid you'll get is like if it's a hot dog day, if it's a hamburger day. You know, even that it's not even the real beef. You know, a hot link day, a piece of chicken, but it's more like I call it a baby pigeon. You know what I mean? You really don't get much. You know, it's like I said, it's everything's slop. It's all like chicken tetrazzini, chicken Alfredo, chicken this, chicken that.
We had that tetrazzini, that yokosoba, that Alfredo. You know,
all that stuff.
And also they started going more to tofu and soy in Missouri too.
Right, same thing here. Not tofu, but soy beef.
Yeah.
Then you get like goulash. You get tuna casserole, enchilada casserole. You know, all these different casseroles. You know what I mean? Where it's just blended stuff and just, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I eat it. I smack it back no matter what. You know what I mean? I'm not picky, but you know, fat boy got to eat. Feel me?
Right.
But
you know,
like someone, yeah.
That chicken Alfredo, we used to call it chicken I'm afraid of, you know, because that was some nasty stuff. And I get out and we're in the store one day and Mindy says, you want some chicken Alfredo? I said, hell no, I don't want some chicken Alfredo. I said, man, that stuff's nasty. She goes, it's not like it is in prison.
and that's another thing. A lot of the stuff they feed us in prison with these names.
Yeah.
When you get out on the outs and you see it really cooked, it don't even look nothing like it. You know what I mean? It don't look nothing like it. Yeah, it's yeah, man. All those different ones. Like not that he went Brooklyn House. He said he was Jewish. Yeah, you got kosher meals. Yeah, here in prison, you say in California, Cali, you say you're Jewish, you get hooked up with a lot more. You get like good oatmeal. You get a lot of good stuff that are like. I remember this old man. He was in the hole with me. His name was Dennis, and he had like a shit bag and all that, man. And man, this guy would trade me just for coffee, shots of coffee. He would give me his hard-boiled eggs every morning. He would, when I come back from yard, he would give me his lunch meat. He would get actual like Oscar Mayer. You know, I'm just using that brand, but it might not have been that brand. But you know, the way they come in the little plastic. Yeah. He would get like 5 pieces of lunch meat. He would give me that. I would get that from him. He would get some type of tuna or something every other day. I would get that too, and I would just give him shots of coffee. He was an old man, and he was barely hanging on, man. You know, he was really thin. You know, I don't know if he thought, you know, well, he was getting morphine too, so he probably was, you know, close to dying. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, they get hooked up. They get hooked up fat.
In Missouri, you have to sign up for a religious diet to get special meals, you know.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. And then the rabbi, in that case, the rabbi's got to sign off on it. I even think the rabbi comes and talks to you if you say you're Jewish, and then he comes and talks to you, and then he puts in his paperwork to the diet, the religious diet services. And then boom.
They better not catch you eating anything other than that special diet. They'll throw your ass in the hole.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they'll throw you in the hole, but they will, depending on who it is that's riding you that catches that, they will write your ass up. You know what I mean?
They will.
Yeah, because that's the free staff person that when you get up to the window, there's one standing there, and she or he's looking to see who's in line because, you know, just like with everybody else, when you do a job, you remember the people's faces and their names, you know, that get these special diets. You know, it could be a vegetarian diet. It could be, you know, a religious diet, you know, so they remember. So sometimes guys, depending what's on the menu, they want to eat what's on the menu. Like say if it's hot link night or something like that, you know, they want that. And if they're vegetarian, and sometimes they'll get caught at the window and they'll get the trays, and they always just give them a bunch of beans. You know what I'm saying? That's what they get for a vegetarian diet, a bunch of beans. You know?
Hey, just chilling. How you doing?
Just chilling. What's up? Let's see, what did Marky said? Cali burgers are soy, yeah.
Yeah, he's right. Same in Missouri.
Yep.
Salisbury Steak, soy burgers.
Yeah, see, he said too, straight slop. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Everything is slop, nothing solid. It's all just, you know, slop. Unless, like I said, those few couple meals, you know, hot dogs, hot link, you know, burgers, which they're soy beef, you know, chicken, you know, there's a few, that's about it. Everything else is going to be slop, nothing solid. Like I said, all those casseroles, all those different, you know, like you were saying, all the different chicken dishes, you know.
When I was in South Central Correctional Center, there was this Jewish guy there. He's an older guy, you know, and I used to talk to him from time to time, and he seen this. He seen this one guy. He found out his last name was Horowitz, which is, I guess, a Jewish name, you know. He goes, man, I'm going to ask him if he'll be my cellie. Well, this guy hung around a bunch of guys that was kind of racist, you know. So he goes right up in the middle of them and asks the guy, says, you want to be my cellie? You know, we're both Jews. He goes, I'm not a Jew. He goes, yeah, you are. Horowitz is a Jewish name. He goes, I'm not a Jew. Everybody else there started laughing and giving him a hard time, you know.
Yeah.
He was getting pissed. And finally he said, get away from me. And so I went over and I said, come on, man, get away from there before you get hurt, you know. And so I let him away. He goes, I don't understand why he denies his own heritage, you know. And I said, I don't know, you know. And he goes, he was mad. I couldn't believe he was mad.
Yeah, they don't want to be, but Horowitz is a Jewish name. You know what I mean? Because I know people with that last name. You know, usually anything with Stein at the end, or Baum, or Man, or you know what I mean, Witz. Anything Witz, it's usually you know, Jewish. But whatever, you know what I mean? People, whatever. You know, I don't know if you were familiar with that guy. Chad did a video on him, Silverstein. They said he was okay. So that's a Jewish. Yeah. That's a Jewish last name, but I guess he was adopted. You know what I mean? Because I was always under the impression that he was Jewish. You know, by birth, and you know he got mixed up with the big fellas. You know what I mean? But come to find out, he was adopted by a stepfather, and that's not his real last name. So. You know, it is what it is. But yeah, they get huge meals, man. In the morning when we come back from breakfast, man, they got this big old bag, and they don't eat breakfast with us, so they get their breakfast and lunch in that bag. You know what I mean? And like I said, they get good oatmeal, they get good peanut butter and jelly. You know, they get like Smuckers. You know what I mean? They get all this good stuff.
Here in Missouri, it comes in these like styrofoam boxes. You know, kind of like you get like at a restaurant or something. You know. It comes in those boxes, and they eat with us, but they kind of eat off to the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then same thing when they do the Ramadan, they get released a little bit before us for dinner. Like they get released like as soon as count gets cleared. They release the Muslims, and they go down to the chow hall, and they get during the Ramadan month, and they get their meals for breakfast and their dinner right there. But then they're not supposed to eat till the sun comes down, right? I think when the sun's up, they can't eat. Something like that. Yeah, I think they only can eat when it's dark, I believe. Right? So they get this good stuff too. They get like banana pudding and, you know, remember the little crackers, the little cookies, like the vanilla wafer cookies. Oh man, they get those with the banana pudding. I used to buy it from somebody. That stuff, excuse me, that stuff is good.
It was the same way here. The people in Ramadan got released first, you know, and did their thing.
See, I was in Brooklyn House with a Hasidic Jew. He stole the Torah and something religious. Funny as hell, he was all over the news. You know the difference. You got the Orthodox Jew and you got the Hasidic Jews. The Hasidic Jews, for those that don't know, they're the ones that got the little braids or whatever that is, the little long hairs coming out the sides. You know, they got all the black on. That's the Hasidic Jews. They got areas in New York. They got areas in New York where they're all Hasidic Jews.
The Torah too is the first 5 books of the Bible. You know.
Right. So yeah. So the Walls was a very violent place. You know, they shut it down. Do you know why the reason they shut it down?
It was just getting old, and you know, it was built in 1836, and it had roaches and rats everywhere, and one part of the wall fell down. They had to put it back up, and they, when I got there, they was talking about closing it down, and it still took them, you know, another 20 years to close it down, you know, and
right.
And they built a new prison at Potosi. Well, they built 2 new prisons. They built Potosi, and they built Jefferson City Correctional Center, which was, people call it the new walls, but there's no walls around it. It's just all fence, you know.
Right. So like San Quentin. So San Quentin was built about, you said 1834. I think San Quentin was built in 1850. I think it was 1855, right. Something like that. So it's about 15, 20 years newer. But same thing with San Quentin, man. It's old and nasty, and it's big old rats that are over there. You know, I see some huge ass rats. I mean, walking around in the daytime too, like nothing.
Yeah,
You know, I own this place. You know, they're back there where the kitchen is. You know, and they just get to eat like kings, man. You figure all that slop and they throw away, they're in there just tearing all that shit up. You know what I mean?
Same way.
What up, you know?
And then they had these huge cockroaches, biggest I'd ever seen. You know, and it's hard to believe unless you've been there. You know, these cockroaches were just out of this world. You know.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, because they get unlimited food. You know.
Right.
Excuse me.
It's like it's mutated or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just, man, it's nasty. And then in San Quentin, underneath your sink, there used to be this hole, and they used to come in your cell. Now they got this steel plate they put there, you know, that they can't come in, man. And it's like, damn, you would think they would have done that a long time ago. You know, who the hell wants ugly old nasty ass rats coming in their cell, man? That's fucking ugh. I would scream like a motherfucking B.I.U. if I seen one of them. You know what I mean? Ah, shit. Scared the shit out of me. I don't fuck with no rat, man.
We got some more people in chat there.
Yeah. Tino said, what's up?
Yeah. What's up, Tino?
I've seen them. Girls. Yeah, I've seen them. But I don't believe them. I've seen them, but I don't believe them.
Yeah.
That was from The Sopranos, I think. That were,
I was the same way when a guy told me one time, he goes, man, these rats will come up out of the toilet. I didn't believe him. You know, I thought it was just somebody telling a story, you know, just trying to get to the new guys, you know. But I actually seen one come up out of the toilet one time, you know, and I said, what? It made me afraid to sit down on the toilet after that, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you see a lot of mice. You see a lot of mice, man. But you know, even the mice don't bother me. But what bothers me about the mice is when they're in your stuff. Like, how the hell they get up under the? How the hell did they get up underneath the bunk? You know, because they climb, right? They climb and they, you know, because I built a little hammock underneath the top rack, but underneath where I put my food at. You know what I mean? Because in reception in Tracy, DVI, you don't have shelves. So I had all my food up there because they were getting it into it under the bed, you know. So I put it up there. Somehow these little fuckers, because we built a shelf on the ladder to get to the top rack. Somehow they, you know, got up that, climbed up this, jumped onto that, and they got up in there. And I hear them just, you know, in there, you know, walking around on the food, like my chips and stuff like that. And I'm like, what the hell? And that noise bothered me, and I couldn't sleep. You know what I mean? But I'm not afraid of the mice, but like I said, the rats. Now that's a different story.
Guys used to take a empty chip bag, right? You know, like they get done eating a bag of chips, and they'd tape it to their wall, and these roaches would go down into the chip bag, but they couldn't get back out. it's all slippery, because for I guess the oil from the
grease
stuff, they couldn't climb back out, and they'd have a whole bunch of them, and then they'd kill them, flush them down the toilet, whatever, and put it back up there.
Wow, damn, you got to do that. That's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's oof. You figure that's you got people living around. Cockroaches are bad for your breathing. If you got you got asthma and stuff like that, or respiratory issues, cockroaches are filthy for you. You know what I'm saying? Pigeons, rats, all that shit.
When we went back there, on the tour, they was asking me, the family that was with me, they said, where's the roaches that you talked about? And I didn't even think about it. And I said, yeah, where are they? Because they used to be everywhere in here,
Yeah. Well, there's no food no more, so they all probably died out or they went elsewhere. I don't know how that works. I don't know if they travel like a hippo or a crocodile does after the water dries up. You know what I mean? Because
I'm thinking because it's a museum now and they do tours, they probably did everything they could to get rid of them.
Probably that too, but you figure they're not going to go. They're going to go where food's at. So if there ain't no more food there because there's no people there, they're going to take off, I would imagine, or die, whatever. You know what I mean? But So the Walls is Missouri State Penitentiary. Was a violent place. It was out of date. It was the living situations got terrible. It was uninhabitable. They had to move on and close it down. And so when you were there, where did they send you after that? When they shut that place down, or did they shut it down since you've been out?
They shut it down in 2004. I was still in prison, but I was in a different
prison.
In there.
Right. So what they do? They just started loading guys up on buses and getting them out of there and sending them to other places.
Yeah, they sent the ones on death row. They sent them to Potosi, and then the rest of them they sent to Jefferson City Correctional Center.
Okay, because just recently, they shut down. They're starting to shut down Susanville, which is in Susanville, California. It's way up north. It's right across from High Desert State Prison. And what they're doing is they're sending like the level 3 guys to I heard Solano and some guys to High Desert, and they're ready to close that down. That's from the governor, and then that'll be the second joint that he shut down. He shut down Tracy already, and now, like I said, they're working on Susanville, and then they're supposed to be shutting down San Quentin and Soledad sometime in the near future. Plus, he just got reelected, so it's going to continue. You know what I mean? I don't know how they do all that, though, how they send all these prisoners to other prisons. I don't understand how they're doing that. You know what I mean? Because the population.
Well, in Missouri, before they closed it down, they built another prison so that they could put them in, But
what up, Quick Vic?
Quick Vic.
Yeah, he's Quick Vic's out of Florida. Yeah, I believe he's out of Florida. So I'm wondering though too. On top of that, with the correctional officers, they're part of a strong union. You know what I mean? So I wonder if they're keeping certain officers on the job, and other ones are like forcing them into retirement, like ones that have a certain amount of seniority. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? Because to shut down a whole prison, you're talking about over probably 2,000 jobs, I would imagine, right? At least.
Exactly. A lot of jobs anyway. And
a lot of jobs.
I do know one thing. When they closed the walls down, they sent these COs to other prisons, right? But they didn't all go to the same prison. They went to like different ones. And
right.
And a couple of them came to the one I was in, which was a licking. And the ones that was from the walls, they could not stand the ones that was already there. You know what I mean? The COs. So
right.
Like the COs and stuff that came from the walls, they'd look at these the COs that was already there at South Central Correctional Center like they was pussies. You guys are soft. That's what they would tell them. And you guys are soft. And they said, there's kind of like a beef going on between them. But it was just a different way of thinking, you know.
Right. So yeah, it's like it's a different mentality. Like you know, these level 4 yards. I remember COs coming from level 4 yard, Salinas Valley, and they came from the level 4 and they came to the level 3. You know what I mean? I don't know if because a lot of guys COs were traveling like from a Fresno area over the mountains. I think I'm not sure what those mountains are called, but right on the other side of the mountains is Central Coast, and it's Soledad, Salinas Valley, you know, all that right there. And you know, he came with that mentality, that level 4 mentality. He comes over to us and he starts fucking with us. You know what I mean? Get on the wall. You know, where's your IDs? And you know, he's trying to you know, learn people's names and stuff like that. But he just went about shit wrong. Asshole. You know what I mean? You know, and it happens a lot. They have that demeanor, that level 4 demeanor. You know, where but what's the trip about that is that there's no way in hell that I believe that they're acting like that. The way they came to level 3 acting. Now, yeah, like you said, they do have a level 4 demeanor, but to come to a lower level and start fucking with people, you know, it tells me that you just were, you know, you used to get bullied and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because he's not going to get away with that on a level 4. Somebody will fuck him up. You know what I mean? That simple. You know what I mean?
We got Dr. Sean in the house.
Yeah, I've seen that now. Yes, a level 4 mentality can get you confused. It can get you confused, huh?
Yeah. You know,
what's up, Sean?
But you know, it was the same way when I left the South Central Correctional Center, and I got a date, so I went from a level 5 all the way down to level 1. So they put me in this level 1, and it was just like a whole different change of mentality and everything. Not just those incarcerated, but the staff too, you know. And I didn't like it, you know. I didn't.
Yeah.
Especially the prisoners there, you know. They just well, I'm just gonna call most of them were inmates, you know. They hadn't really done any time, and they didn't know how to do time. And you know, here in Missouri, we have we make a difference between inmate and convict, you know. And
yeah, exactly.
And so most of them, in my opinion, in the low levels were inmates, you know.
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back to the level 5 for my last 15 months, you know.
Right. It's uncomfortable. It's a culture shock. You're not used to seeing guys walking around in their shower shoes. You got guys that are sitting there talking to the cops all day long. You know, you got guys that are dry snitching on other guys. They're inmate task force. You know what I mean? ITF. You know, they're monitoring the extra sheets, the extra toilet paper, the razors. They want to act like they work for the state. You know, like it's their stuff. You know, Richard Dowling, respect to Ireland. Yeah, Richard. You know Richard, right? He's from Ireland. Yeah.
Richard's a good dude,
man. I think I got Richard either from you or from Lance's channel. I'm not really sure. One of those.
He's a good supporter of all the channels.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so
it's amazing, really.
So it is a trip when you drop to the lower levels. I've only got to a level 2, and the only reason I was level 2 is because they changed the point system, because the points I had would have been the old school level 3. But it is what it is. You know, I did enjoy going there to the level 2 yard, because it was the building I landed in ended up being like, you know, a lot of homeboys in there. A lot of things were going on as far as tattooing. You know what I mean? Just the unity was real tight in there. You know what I mean? And I think what helped me out the most was that the fact that I was in a corner bunk, meaning that, you know, if I'm laying on my bed, the left side of me is a wall, so I don't have to worry about, you know, anybody coming over there or you know, you know, putting the sheet up. So that helped me out a lot with having that bunk.
That was another thing, you know. In the high level prisons, we had cells, you know, 2-man cells, 1-man cells, whatever. But when they sent me to a level 1, there's these dorms. You know, some of them were small, some of them were big, but I hated them.
Right, and that's a common thing with the lifers when their points drop and they end up, because they even changed some things, because at one point, if you had life without parole, which we call LWOP, they wouldn't put you in a dorm. But then eventually they changed that, and guys started getting sent to dorms, and they were having a hard time with it. You know what I mean? Real hard time with it.
Oh yeah.
Dirty 3530. What's going on, man?
Hey, Dirty, what's up?
Quick Big. We got Quick Big. Yeah, we got a few more people in here. So that was another culture shock for you. And then how long did you stay in the low levels like that before you went home?
15 months.
15 months. So after, and let me ask you this too, like here, the way it works is you go to the parole board. The parole board finds you suitable for parole, and then eventually it goes to the governor's desk, and he'll either stop the release, or he'll let it go. But there's time frames where he's got to answer by a certain amount of time, and then if you don't, then you'll be released. You know what I mean? Is that the same way it works there?
Well, you go up. When you go up to the pro board, see the pro board, there's 3 people you see. And I'm told now it's through camera. They don't do it in person no more. But after you see them, they'll tell you'll get an answer in 2 to 8 weeks, I think, something like that, 2 to 8 weeks. But whenever you get your answer back, they go up to a board of 7 and talk about it. And
okay.
And decide whether you're going to get parole or not. And then usually if the opposition shows up at the pro board, you ain't got a chance. But
right. And that could be the victim's family, the victim, the district attorney that sent you in. That's how it works here.
Prosecutor or anybody on the other side, And
right.
But anyway, after they meet and decide whatever, and say you get a date, they'll let you know. And then what they do, they want to get you off that yard quick, because they drop your level, And like if you get a date, they drop your level. And like they told me, I tried staying there, and they wouldn't let me. They said, you can't be a level 1 and be on this yard. If something happens to you, we could get sued.
Right. So, but what's weird about that is that here in Cali, when you are endorsed to a level 1, like a ranch or a E yard, which is basically a support yard, right? They do everything for the main prison. They're the ones that work in the warehouse. They're the ones that get all the clothing ready to be shipped into the yards. Anything you got to do with anything. The supplies, the canteen, it goes to every yard. It comes from the warehouse. So those are all the level 1 workers, and they put on a jumpsuit where it's like fluorescent. So it's either orange or green, fluorescent green, where they stick out. You know what I mean? And but in order for you to get to that level 1 yard, so when you come from reception or you come from whatever prison you were at prior to that, you don't just go straight to that level 1 yard. They send you to behind the wall, so you end up going on a level 3 yard, and you stay there until you see the committee. Yeah, until you see committee, and once committee clears you, and then you get your gate pass, then they send you over there to the level 1 yard. Sometimes I've seen guys where, because they had an escape from like 20 years before, or an arson case from 20 years before, or some type of domestic violence arrest, it held them up where their counselor was trying to get the police reports from whatever that case was, to go over whatever the factors are, and then determine if you still were eligible. But yeah, I've seen guys sitting over there for a long time, and it is true, like you said. If you're a level 1 and you're on a level 3 yard and something happens, they're responsible. So you think that they wouldn't just leave you like that in limbo, but that just shows that they don't really give a flying motherfucker. You know what I mean?
What they did with me is I forgot my date. I was on the yard for like a week before they called me in the office, and the caseworker said, pack your stuff. You're going to the hole. I said, why am I going to the hole? She goes, you're you're going to one house, which is single man cells, and I said, I haven't done anything, She goes, I know.
Right.
She goes, but you can't be on this yard. And she goes, so you're going to the hole until we transfer you. And
wow.
I sat over in the hole for a month before they transferred me to the level 1.
Damn. What's Cholo saying here? Cholo said, what prison you at? I don't know. What do you mean what prison you at? You talking to me, where I've been to, or you talking to Harvey's from Missouri?
Yeah, I did time in Missouri.
Prisons. Yeah, he's been to a few different prisons, and me, I've been to all bunch of joints. He says facts. I gave my number back in 2008 to the CDC. Yeah, I gave back 4 numbers. I went in 2002, 18 years old. That's when GP was GP and SNY was SNY. Yeah, the reason he's saying that because now they're mixing it all up. I don't know what's going on over here in Cali, man. You hear one thing, you hear something else. A lot of us, like Marky Mark, got people that are in there, so we hear things from them too. I got a cousin that's in there, and he's doing 31 years. He's got like 16 years out of the way. He's, pretty much still halfway, halfway there. You know what I mean? Let's see. Even though I never went to the SNY, I was in Salinas Valley. Yeah, I've been there too. Yeah, Salinas Valley has yards that are SNY and GP. They're not mixed, but they're different facilities. Like C yard might be SNY and D yard is GP. You know what I mean?
Right.
The newer prisons most of them have 4 yards, but there's a couple of them that only have 3. Like Mill Creek has A yard, B yard, C yard, and then they built some new yards now on there. So I don't know what those ones are called, but yeah, it's all the prison system here is all jacked up. I'm glad I was out of it because they're just. I wish everybody would get out of it. There ain't no future in that bullshit, man.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, you think you get involved with something and you think you think you're doing the right thing, and then some little incident happens and you find out that you ain't really shit to them, and you do what you do, and they end up you're expendable. Put it that way. And even
exactly, I've seen young guys come in that had a number, meaning that they're going to do so much time and then get out, but they end up doing something in the prison, and then now they're not getting out. It's
right.
Stupid.
Yeah. So and even guys that actually become members of that organization, they're low level entry members, right? In other words, it's by a category system. I don't really want to get all into it, but you got category 1, category 2, category 3. Category 3 means you're a well seasoned vet. You're part of the leadership. You're part of the decision making. Category 2 is you're part of the leadership, but not behind the walls. In other words, you're running things on the street for the guys behind the wall. And then category 1 is a low level entry member, that's not really schooled on a lot of things. So a lot of those guys that are category 1 members and even category 2 members, they're even expendable. If you're not a category 3 member with that you've been around, you're part of the leadership, usually you still don't have nothing coming, and you're still like I said, you're still expendable. You know what I mean? And I've seen it numerous times over and over again with guys. They get involved with something, they think they're really with it. They think they're really with the business, but what I'm saying is they really think they're safe because they're a member, and then they get put in an ejective situation, and then they're showed that, hey, you really don't mean nothing to the organization. You're expendable to the other guys. Yeah.
A lot of young guys coming in will join an organization just for protection. I feel like they feel like if they're with a group, they're more protected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
If I forget, tomorrow we'll probably just go a few more minutes if you don't mind. I want to just touch a little bit on when you got out, because anybody that done like me, I've only done, I've done a good amount of time stacked up, but it was like in and out. It was like life on installment plans for me. The most I did in one shot was a little bit over 4 years, but even when I did those 4 years, when I got out, it was a culture shock still to me, as far as, people getting too close, the speed of people walking by me, little bit of crowds. You know, I'd make sure I sat where I could see entrances and nobody could come behind me. You know, I got out and I seen housing developments that weren't there when I went in. You know what I mean? So to imagine 3 decades almost, you're gone. You know, you're probably your little farming town that you came from. You know, I don't know if it still was that same little town, but I'm pretty sure if it was and it didn't grow much, I'm pretty sure the surrounding area did.
Actually, it didn't grow. The town didn't grow at all. In fact, it's got less people than when I went in, you know. But the town next to it, which is a college community, has gotten bigger, you know.
Right. So let's see. Cholo said some don't even know what they're getting themselves into. Yeah, you're right. They don't, but they should. They should know though. They should know because, you know, there's always scandalous situations that are going down, favoritism that's going down. Which part of the rules is you're not supposed to be showing favoritism, but it's always happening, man. You know, so you know I think that people should be aware of things fully before they get involved with stuff.
Right.
I'm back. Sorry, had a patient on the phone. Can you believe this? Woman actually eats her mattress. Come on, man. Let's see. You keep pushing the truth. We need to change the generations. Z. Yeah, that's right. You know what I'm saying? We're trying because, you know, there's too many people like us that, you know, Harvey's situation is a lot different. You know, he wasn't out there, you know, gang banging, and he wasn't out there slanging. You know, he did something to protect a family member that, you know, he felt, you know, was a little family member younger than himself. And, you know, he confronted a situation that was going down, and he felt that he was being mocked and kind of bullied by the guy, you know, when he confronted him. And so he did what he did. You know, he did what he felt he had to do at the time. A lot of people speak about, and he was a young man. I mean, literally a teenager at the time. Grown men don't even do that. You know, they talk a good one, but you know, when it comes down to it, you know, he did what he did. You know, and he protected his brother from getting bothered any further from that person. You know, so Harvey's situation is a lot different than, you know, somebody that was gangbanging and, you know, out there running amok and selling dope and, you know, stuff like that. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter what the reason is. Yeah.
When I got to prison and over time and over the years, I kept seeing these young guys come in for like you said, dope and different things, you know. And it just broke my heart to see these guys coming in, and especially like we was talking about earlier, the ones coming in and then they mess up their lives further once they were in prison, you know. And I felt a need. I want to help people, you know, keep them from taking that route, you know.
Right. Yeah, you're right. And then, you know, a lot of times guys get life and they just give up on it and they just continue to run amok in there and say, hey, I'm not going to get out anyways. But that's not how, you know, a lot of states are changing, man. You know, the way they look at, especially like if you go in there as a youngster, like here in California, they changed that. You know, they changed it where instead of, you know, you come in with a life sentence or 20-year sentence, 10-year sentence, and you're the age of 20, you know, and you committed the crime at 18, you know, instead of them sending you to a hard level 4 yard, they're sending you to a level 2 yard. You know, that way you don't get wrapped up in the politics and because everybody knows level 4, the politics are a lot harder than a level 2. You know, there's a lot more stricter things going on and stuff like that. So, you know, they're sending these youngsters to lower levels, which is, I think, is a good idea, you know, because so many of them, like you said, like you said, so many guys are coming in there. Yeah.
I also think that in the higher levels, you see more stabbings than you do in the lower levels, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
The chances of survival is less the higher level you go, you know.
Right, exactly, because the higher level, everybody carries a weapon. It's mandatory, right? Like within my the collective I was with, everybody carries a weapon. When you drop down to a level 3, everybody carries a weapon except for the people in positions that are position of leadership. But even then, they'll probably still carry them too. And then level 2, it's only mandatory for the guys that are like on the squad, the guys that are up to do, you know, put in some work, you know, if need be, you know. So it's different when you get to the levels, like you said. Nazi said Harvey deserves a medal, not prison time. Yeah, that's how a lot of people feel. You know what I mean?
I don't feel I deserve a medal or anything, but you know, I was just trying to protect my little brother, you know. But I think anybody would do that, you know. So I don't think I'm deserving of a medal. I just don't think I should have got as much time as I did, you know.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, yeah, you know, again, your age, they didn't take any of that consideration. You know, at least now they are, and I'll be real about it too. A lot of the pro officers and probation officers now are more like, they have more like social worker skills. You know what I mean? Where they're there to try to help you now. There's not just lock them up, because that was the theme for a long time, right? You know, the pro agents were just the pro. Back then they were called pro officers. Now they're pro agents. You know, it was lock him up. You gave me a dirty test, lock him up. He was around. You know, he went by his girlfriend's house. He's not supposed to lock him up. You know, whatever it is, it was lock him up. That was the answer. Lock him up. And so it got out of hand, man. Where you had guys that on parole that were being sent back on parole violations. The number was like double of what people were being sent to prison on actual cases by judges. You know, the judge sentenced them to, you know, whatever, 2 years in state pen, 3 years state pen. There was more guys being sent back by the pro officers at that time than the judge were sending. That's a problem, you know, because it's too much power for them to have. You know, it's a job security thing, because even though the COs are the ones that work at the prisons, the pro officers are still, most of them are ex COs from inside, and it's the same union. So it's job security. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
You know, yeah.
You was going to ask me something about after I got out. What was it?
Yeah. So when you got out, I want to, like, what, I know it had to be a big culture shock. I heard you say before it felt like you got dropped off in outer space, right? Or something like that, you said?
Yeah.
So,
like,
you know, I know. Right. And then I heard you say, you said a foreign country. That's right. I heard you say something like, you know, you were at I don't know if it was a transition house, but you didn't touch the TV. And then they were like, why didn't you put the TV? And you were like, that's not mine.
Right. Well, it was after I came home to the family, you know, and the next morning, and I did this for many mornings, you know, I'd get up early in the morning before everybody else. I still get up before everybody else most times. And I get a cup of coffee and a cigarette, and I'd sit there in the living room in the dark, you know, and until it got light. And they'd come in, and a lot of times they'd turn on the light. They said, why ain't you watching TV? Well, for one, I'm enjoying this quiet, and two, it's not my TV. And they said, you're staying here, you know, you can turn on the TV, you know?
Yeah.
And, but, you know, it was just, to me, it wasn't mine, so I wasn't touching it, you know?
Right. And that's part of the schooling in prison. You know, it's not yours. You don't touch it. Like a lot of guys, hey, somebody left a soap dish, and then they'll grab it or, you know, and take it in their cell. You know, they're trying to do a good thing, but some guys don't play that shit. Don't touch my shit if it ain't yours. Don't touch it, period. You know, make the announcement, hey, somebody leave the soap dish, but don't touch it. You know, that's just, you know, a lot of guys, I've seen a lot of guys getting, you know, fights over that. Also, like you said, too, you're used to getting up in the morning, you know, you're used to programming. So you bring that home with you because you've been doing it 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's part of you. It's part of who you are, you know.
And they would,
I don't know.
They would have to tell me that I could go outside, you know, because they'd say, don't you want to go, you know, you're a free man now. Don't you want to go for a walk? And I said, well, yeah. And they said, well, go. And it was just weird that I could just walk out, you know, without being, you know.
Yeah. So that's part of that culture shock. Like I was saying, you know, you're used to doing things, like I said, the program. So you're used to being dismissed, you know, okay, A side, go to chow, B side, go to chow, or whatever, you know, whatever building you're in, or whatever wing you're in, you know, they'll release by like that. And they got a set program on how they do the releases. You know, this day is, you know, this side goes first, that day, this guy. So everything is structured in there as far as, you know, when it's time to shower or when the showers are open, when the doors open, when, you know, when they dismiss for bulk and school and everything, you know, what time they come get you if you work in the kitchen, you know, in the mornings, all that stuff.
When we go to a restaurant, I got to sit with my back to the wall, where I can see everybody.
Yeah, me too. And I still do that to this day. I'll go and make sure, like when I go to Denny's, I like to go in the back, the very back, where nobody can come behind me and I can see anybody coming this way. You know what I mean? I had a real issue with that, man, when people coming by me fast, like too many people. You know what I mean? I had an issue with that.
Right.
You know, and you know, and then too, being in the facility that I was at, majority of my time during that term, you know, it was rocking and rolling. You know what I mean? So you already got that war mentality, you know, in your mind, and then, you know, you got all these people walking by you fast, you know, and they don't even realize that they're causing you panic a little bit because they might be, you know, waving their arms, you know, when they're going by or whatever, you know, but they're not.
You know, like
they don't got no.
If you're like in Walmart or somewhere, you know, where it's real crowded and there's people going by real close to you or real fast, or you see movements off to the side, you know, they don't know what that's doing to your mind, you know.
Right.
You're ready to start swinging, you know.
Yeah. Bite over Bruno, Cholo says. Yeah, I didn't. We're not allowed to drink. Most of the yards that I've been to, we're not allowed to drink. I have been to one yard where it was allowed, and I was surprised because what prison it was. It was Corcoran. And the guy running the yard, he was just like, look, if you guys are going to drink, just make sure the next day that you increase your workout and sweat that shit out. You know what I mean? But he straight up told him, if there's an issue where you guys can't handle it, you start acting fool and you're bringing attention to us, then we're going to have a problem, you know? And so, fortunately for them,
at the walls, there was a lot of hooch being made, and because they didn't charge you for it. You know, if you got caught, and if they caught you drunk, they just tell you go back to the cell. You go back. I don't want to see you the rest of the day. Go back to your cell. And I got drunk on we call it hooch here in Missouri.
Right.
I got drunk on hooch one time, and I did not like it because I want to be aware of everything going on around me. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so
exactly.
So I only did it one time, and I told people after that, I ain't doing that again, man. I want to be on my toes, you know. And
that's the reason why. Yeah, go ahead. My bad.
They said, "Oh man, you gotta chill once in a while." No, I am not chilling in this place. You know,
right?
You guys,
that's the reason why. Yeah, that's the reason why it's outlawed within my group segment, because we're not that, you know, we're outnumbered. Usually, most prisons there's only about maybe 30 of us, and the opposition there's like 300 at least. Right. You know, that's usually how it goes. And so you got to be always on your toes, like you said. And this drinking and doing dope, it takes you out of your element. You know, it makes you vulnerable. It makes you, you know, like I said, we're already outnumbered. So now if you're under the influence, that means that one of your brothers on the yard is going to have to keep more eye on you because you're inebriated or whatever, you're loaded, whatever. So it takes you from being in your right state of mind, and it's mind altering. You know, it's a mind altering thing. You know, you start acting different. You don't act yourself when you're drunk and when you're high. You know,
not only that, your reaction time is slow. You know,
right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everything. It throws you off. Your reaction, your equilibrium, it throws that off too. You don't, like you said, your reaction, you don't react normal. You know, by the time you react, you already got punched and you're laid on the floor. You know what I mean, or whatever it might be. You know, or some guys came at you with a pee. Who knows? You know, so that's why they don't. That's why they don't do it. But so here in California, when you get a date and you get found suitable from the board, like I said, the paperwork goes to the governor's office, and he has so much time to deny it if he's going to deny it. But then if you don't deny it, then eventually you'll be called by your counselor, and they'll tell you when your date is. And then usually by the time it gets that far, your date's going to be within a week or two, right? And but what part of your parole deal, when you get found suitable, you have to have like letters from people saying that you're going to get a job. Programs saying that they're willing to take you in as in the transition, and different, you know, letters of recommendations and referrals type deals. So the way they do it in Cali, if, you know, you're a lifer, you have to go to a transitional house, basically like a living program type deal to get you acclimated to going back into society. I don't know if they do that in Missouri.
They don't do that in Missouri. They have that program, but it's not necessary. Like if you got to have a home plan, right? So you got to find somebody that's going to take you in. Is what I'm trying to say. And if you don't have anybody that'll take you in, they'll find somebody for you. And it's usually like you said, like a transition thing. You go to this place and you stay there, but you work for them. That type of thing.
Right. So they have a work plan too, I believe. You will get a letter, saying that we're married, or we're together, and he's gonna come live with me after he does the transition. So that's part of your plans, your parole plans too. You got to have all that, and it's up to you to find the program, write the program, the transitional, and then when you get the return letter, then you give it to I don't know if you give it to the counselor or if you hold on to it, and then when you go to the board, you present it. You know what I mean? But all that's important. It's all called your parole plans, and that's all part of it. You know what I mean? There's another guy. He came on a few days ago on here, and his name is he goes by the name Jedi Mind Trick, and he got out after 27, 28 years, and like you, he went in as a juvenile. He was 16, but his was gang violence, and he ended up getting out. I'm gonna have him come on too, and then that way he can explain too what the California system, how they do it, as far as in details, because I all I know is what I just said now. I don't know into details, intimate details on things, you know what I mean?
Right.
About that. But what do you say? My homeboy went in for 9 years and caught 45. Shit, I know a guy that went in with 16 months and turned it into 48 years, and his crime partner, same charge, he turned it into 45 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know a guy that he had 7 years left, and he beat a chomo to death, and he's not getting out now.
Oh, yeah. So these two guys were crime partners in the pen. I think they knew each other on the streets as well. That's why they had the same charge. But one was from San Francisco, one was from Hayward. And like I said, they went in with it was like called felony joyriding at that time. And they went in with an 18-month sentence or 16-month sentence, and they both ended up doing 40-plus years, 148, 145. But they were involved with the movement at the time within the walls of California state prisons in the 70s. Anybody could pretty much Google that and find that all out. I don't like to be on here and say the names of the organizations. You know what I mean? But everybody, if you're aware of California, you should be aware of the two Latino groups that are out there. As far as that's all I'm going to say. I don't like getting into specifics on certain things. It's happened many times, man, where guys, came in with a little bit of time. They decided to get involved with what's going on as far as the movements behind the walls, the organizations, and boom, they're doing all day. So that's another thing to think about. Youngsters and young men. Think about that. Is it really worth it at the end of the day? Because keep in mind, you're expendable. I don't care if you even become a member. If you're not part of the leadership, and even part of the leadership, there was a couple guys they killed, and one of them, actually both of them, it really shouldn't have been done, but one for sure. And they didn't even get the proper okay. That's what I don't understand. They didn't get the proper okay, and yet nothing was done about it. All they did was the guys that were responsible for making the call, because they were lifers, they went ahead and stripped them from their leadership positions, and they made them low entry level members. But that was it, So they're still members, and they're still breeding. And these guys that they did dirty are dead, and nothing was done about it. It's kind of weird to me, how that happened. You know what I mean? But it's it goes along the lines about the treachery, the disloyalness, the betrayal, all that. And it's always going to be there. I don't care what organization it is.
Sure.
It's always going to be there. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So, we've been on about an hour and 40 minutes. I know you probably got to eat dinner or something. I
got to get off here in a minute. But thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And,
I appreciate it. I appreciate having you. I always state that in the little community things that I drop when I tell people you're coming on, because you don't have to do this. You could just go on with your channel and do your thing, and you could, and then like today I messed up a little bit late. You still came on. You know what I mean? So yeah, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to have you on.
Here's what you don't understand. I'm not only trying to help people not go to prison and stuff. I'm trying to help other channels out too that are trying to help people.
Yeah.
So any way I can do that, any small way I can do that, I'm going to try to. And you got a good channel with positivity and stuff.
Yeah, and we got a little circle of guys that do that for each other. With the avatars, helping out with this, helping out with that. You, in your case, bringing, letting me come on. You came on. If you guys don't know, I did like 4 videos with Harvey. Go check them out. Also, just go to Harvey's channel anyways if you ain't sub to him. It's called Harvey's Talks Prison. Yeah, Harvey's Talks Prison.
Once again, everybody, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and and you too, Lou. I hope you have a good day and enjoy yourself tomorrow.
Yep.
Don't eat too much turkey.
I'm gonna put your link in the thing right now.
All right.
So if you can, if you want to stay on for a minute while I do it, that's up to you, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. Thanks for having me, and everybody in the chat. Thanks for showing up. And listening to me and Lou talk.
Yeah. I always look forward to it.
Right.
So,
all right.
Yeah. You did it. Yeah. You were able to do that too on with your thing with your handle, huh? You're on your channel.
Yeah, I did. I did my handle here. It was a while back, like a month ago.
Yeah, right. That's when they first started doing it. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I did mine.
I wanted to ask you: do you have to write the whole thing out, or can you just put like at Big Lou?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
On the community post, I wrote the whole thing out for you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
All right, I'll catch you all later.
I've seen that. Yeah, so I'm dropping your link now. I just told everybody give you a sub and like and share your channel. And
appreciate that.
Appreciate you too. And you and Mindy and the other family have a blessed and a positive day tomorrow.
Yeah, you
and
too.
Also, don't everybody out there, don't do it. Don't drink and drive.
That's right.
Call an Uber, call a taxi. If you got to, walk. Not worth taking a chance, man. You can hurt somebody or yourself or kill somebody, and then there you are in the slammer. You know what I mean? So, all right, Harvey. I appreciate you coming on, man. Have a good one.
Appreciate
you
too.
Yep. So, there it is. There. A little part 2 interaction with Harvey from Harvey Talks Prison. He's a cool stand-up dude, man. Me and him talk. Like I said, we've done videos together. And that he's genuine on what he says, about wanting to help people and help different channels, and because he's a little bit, he's more advanced as far as with the monetization, with the subs. I think he has about 4,000 subs or something like close to it, or does have over 4,000 subs, and he has he's got the watch time and all that, because you gotta have 1,000 subs and you gotta have 4,000 hours of watch time. So like me, for example, I just hit 50,000 views, but my watch time is, I think I only have like 500. So I'm still way off. Plus, I still got like 600 something subs to go, which that's the goal. That's somewhat of the goal. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It ain't gonna make a difference. I appreciate the people that I have now that watch, the channel and support the channel, with likes and subbing and commenting for the algorithm and all that stuff. I appreciate all that, because you guys don't have to do it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I enjoyed having Harvey on. I'm hoping to tap in with Adam from Aussie. I don't even know what the name of his channel is now. I think it's called Aussie Talks Prison. He's changed his name a few times. He's got locked out of his channel once or twice, so he had to start a whole new account. He's in Australia, so we got a big difference on the time. So we have to figure out how we're gonna do that. God bless you and your family in many ways, as well as health issues. Happy, yeah. Likewise, Cholo. Appreciate you for stopping in too. I don't know how you heard the channel. If you've seen it in you seen something on the short, or you see me post a link in another chat. But I appreciate you coming in. If you haven't already, sub to the channel. I appreciate it. My channel got deleted and did this one. Yeah. So yeah, it was a trip. I don't know if you guys seen my shorts yesterday, but I dropped a little pit bull one, and immediately, like within an hour, I got like 900 views. I was like, damn, and I think right now it's at like 1,300. And then I dropped this little two horse and carriage, I guess. I don't know if that's called a carriage or horse and buggy or whatever, but they were going through downtown, and I just happened to be at the stoplight, and I just took my phone and I watched two of them as they went by. I think there was three of them all together, but I missed the first one because I had to grab the phone. And I put that on there, man, and I got 2,000 views like that. And I'm like, damn, off just a horse, two horses pulling a buggy or a carriage or whatever it's called. You know what I mean? Okay, you seen shorts. Okay, cool. Where, if you don't mind me asking, where are you at where are you located at, Cholo? I try to leave a comment every time to give you credit, and Adam's channel is now Adam Talks Prison TV. Okay, there it is there. So Adam's channel is called Adam Talks Prison TV. Cool. So yeah, I'm hoping to bring Adam on. And then earlier, somebody came in the chat that's from Ireland, and I told him about coming on. I want to also bring Wanda on from Search and Answers in West Virginia. Unfortunately, she lost her son. He was incarcerated at I believe one of the county jails in West Virginia. So, the story needs to get put out there somehow. I know my platform is small, but, you just never know, who ends up seeing what, you know what I mean? So, I don't really, I know I said right now my platform is small, but I really personally don't look at it like that. I got a lot of true supporters that come every day. You might not catch the live every time I go live, but they come back and watch it. Casa Grande, Arizona. Okay, cool. Arizona. Orale. That's what's up, Arizona. They got the Chicanos over there, huh? All right, I seen that 60 days in, the Chicanos. Matter of fact, Abner, I got at Abner about coming on, and he sent me some voice messages, but he wouldn't say yes or no. It was, I don't know, weird. Like he just kept going on and on about like not having this, not having that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Just because you don't got Facebook, that doesn't mean you can't. I don't have a YouTube channel. Well, all you're gonna do is go onto a live. You don't need a actual channel. But everybody, all these are really considered channels that people that comment. Like Cholo, that's your channel right there. I could tap into it and go sub to this, this name, Cholo. You know what I mean? So this is your channel. That's how it works. So, he just kept saying, he sent me a link to a guy out of California that did like, oh man, I think it said 27 years, 28 years. And he's out now, and he's got he's like, I want to say he's like a motivational speaker. He's got a pretty big platform. And he goes around, talking to people, and I think he has a podcast. So I think it was Abner went on that, and basically I can read between the lines. Basically he was saying, I don't have this, I don't have that, but because he had asked me, is it a YouTube or is it a podcast? And I was like, YouTube. So if I would have told him podcast, he would have probably, oh, okay, yeah, because he's trying to get his brand out there. I just don't understand, like what Harvey said. He was like, not only is he trying to help young people, he's trying to help other channels, and that's the honest to God truth. Just like with everybody else, like most of the people that are in our little circle,
And when I say our little circle, that's Sticks from Stay Awake TV, Big Weeby from Weeby's World, Rick from formerly Vegas Prison Stories, which is now called Vegas Profiles, Frank from formerly known as Frank's Positive Vibes, now it's known as Frank's Vibes, New Age Plug, Gangish, Harvey, Harvey Talks Prison, Harvey, there's a few other ones. Excuse me, Lance Off the Yard, or Lance J. Williams, Let's Live Life. He's got a huge platform though. He's got like 300,000. You know what I mean? But still, like with him, with Williams, he comes on, Big Weeby's channel. He don't got no issue with that. With the platform he got, that's what I don't understand. Like, people don't want to help other people out. And at one point you had only 300 subs. You had only 1,000 subs. I don't understand why people do that. It's a stingy type of behavior. You know what I'm saying? People get donations or whatever. I guess they think that, if I try to push for this guy's channel, I want to lose my donation. As far as they're going to start giving to him, I don't know what the issue is with that. It's a trip to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I would think that everybody, if you got a message and the message is, let's try to keep people from making the same mistake we made. And, everybody has their own story. And I always do say that we're more similar than we are different. People that come up on the streets and, that drug world and gang world and all that. It doesn't matter the skin color of you. Our stories are more similar than they're not. And that's I believe that wholeheartedly. I don't believe. Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. It's hate. It's a form of haterism. That's why I said stingy. It's a form of behavior, stingy behavior. There shouldn't be no reason that, somebody with 10,000 subs would want to help a channel with 400, 500, you know what I mean? Or 800, try to get them over the hump, They're more worried about whoever they get money from, they're going to lose them, or instead of them getting 40 a month from these people, now they're only going to get 30 a month or 20 a month because now they might be donating to this channel too. You know what I mean? It's that hate, like Chef Sea Dog said, there's enough room on YouTube for everyone. Some don't seem to understand that. I like channels like yours that aren't afraid to help someone else out. Yeah, that's what my book. That's what it's all about, helping others. Because if you're trying to give a message to people about don't make the same mistakes that I made. Let's try to get you to understand that and to get you on board. That's a form of helping people out. That's a form of keeping it real and being genuine and honest about what's going on in the world and trying to help people out and keep them from making the same mistakes. So, it's not so much about the money. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're popping and your channel's popping, then you're getting the views anyways, and you're making your money that way. You know what I mean? There's some guys that just do lives. All they do is live just in order to get the little, they're not little, but the donations they get. Some of these guys on here, they get, upward of $2,000 or $3,000 a month because of their views. Excuse me, 2,000-3,000 a month because of the super chats and cash apps, Zelles, PayPal, so on and so forth. And you also super sticker, super chat. But that way, YouTube gets like 30%. Your super sticker, super chats, and then you gotta wait till a certain date of the month before you get your check from YouTube, right? But then you got guys that just make thousands of dollars a month just off their views. Like Jay Williams, for example, he has 300,000 subs. His videos get like 50, 60 upwards. That I think 50,000 views is low for him. I just started at 50,000 because I seen one video recently at 53,000 views, but the video was fairly new, like a day or two. It was like 3 days old, I think. You know what I mean? But you're getting 50,000 views on video, and you're putting out a video every day or every other day, but sometimes every day. You're going to be getting a decent little check every month just from the views, not donations through the Cash App or none of that. You know what I mean? What do you say here? Just like some only help people in the street to make a channel, but as soon as they blow up, they don't help anymore. Yeah, I've seen that too. I've seen that too. And then too, not to mention that, like some people don't even dig that because they feel like the person's only, um, like they're showing off, like they're helping somebody out, but they're putting it on the, on the video, like, like in other words, you helped out this family, a single family or whatever, and you help out one of the, if they have only one kid or they have two kids, you help them get school clothes, and you post that. A lot of people think that that's not right. That you should just be helping people out without, without posting it. But me personally, I don't have really an issue with that. It depends how you go about doing it, like how you go about posting it. If you're doing it genuine, like, look, people need help, and that's what we're here for, something like that. But if you're doing it more like in a silly way, that's maybe where I got an issue with it. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. It's all about love and showing love and respect to your fellow friend. Yeah, to your fellow mankind. Because I'm real big on, even though we're different skin colors and we're from different parts of the nation, somebody from New York, their story's way similar to somebody from LA, or somebody from Florida, their story's way similar to somebody from Washington State, somebody from Texas, story's the same as somebody from Chicago. You know what I mean? We're all more similar than we are not, because there's only so many struggles out there. Like, in other words, you got drug abuse, drug dealing, you got abuse, mental, physical, emotional, and then you got physical and sexual abuse, and that story is common. Also the drug epidemic. A lot of people don't like talking about it because it hits closer to home than they want to admit. There's a lot of people that when channels are talking about, like, if they're not normally damn, I just spit. Excuse me. I don't know if anybody's seen that, but I apologize. If anybody notices, like some channels, if they're not really a addiction channel, but then they start talking about addiction, a lot of people will get in the chat and they'll start talking a little bit of crap, like, because they don't like it, because it makes them feel uncomfortable, because again, it's closer, it hits them closer than they want to admit. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to even be around the conversation because they might have kids or brothers or sisters or parents that were all jacked up on dope or something. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you see somebody that can maintain a job and a career, being on smack, for example. You know what I mean? Alcoholism, that's a big one. There's a lot of, even some of the stories, when they do the intervention stories, a lot of times you'll hear that one of the parents was an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? And a way different man or woman than they are now in that documentary, where their kids are struggling with addiction. So, that's a common denominator too. Drinking, alcohol, alcoholism. A lot of people struggle from that too. It's a touchy subject for some people that haven't came to terms of what went down with them and their family. You know what I mean? That's real talk there. But I've been on 2 hours, so I was gonna try to get a haircut tonight, but the barbershop's about to close in 10 minutes. I don't know, my hair ain't that long, but I think I'll be all right. So yeah, so like I said, it just hits closer to home. I don't know if anybody got any questions before I end this. Shoot any questions, I'll answer. I'm glad I don't drink or smoke or do drugs. I met my wife out here and had kids and own my own auto shop. That's what's up. Yep, that's what's up. Went from a convict to a business owner. You know what I'm saying? A family man and a business owner. That's right, man. Salute to you, Cholo. That's what's up. Like I got out the last time, July 2017. I've been out 5 years, some change. You know what I mean? I done 5 prison terms, uh, 4 numbers. I have 4 numbers, and I've done a couple violations. I've done some county time, a year, 8 months, 6 months and a half, and a total of about 12 years I've done. You know what I mean? But I'm out now. I'm a grandfather. I'm a granddaddy. I'm a grandpappy. You know, I still got little kids too. My daughter's gonna be 7 in January, and then I have an 11-year-old. You know what I mean? So I still got young kids still that I gotta be out here for. You know what I mean? I gotta be out here to help them with school clothes, help them with schoolwork, just be here as a dad. You know what I mean? That I obviously couldn't do from behind the walls. There's only so much you can do. You know what I mean? Thank you. Been out since '08. Been in CYA too. Oh, so are you from California originally? Yeah, mine are young too. Mine are young too. So he's talking about his kids. I got older kids. I got grown kids. I got 3 grown kids. One 20 something, 20, 22, 19 in a couple of weeks. And then I have a 20-year-old. So I got 22, 20, and a 19-year-old. Then a 17-year-old. And then 12, almost 12, almost 7. You know what I mean? Riverside. Oh, okay. How do they say Riverside? Rivas? Riverside. I may catch some Riverside. I do catch some, what are they called? Oh, man. What's that? I'm trying to think of that name. Yeah, my mind went blank right now. Hammett. Paris. Hammett, Paris. Those are the ones that are sticking out to me. That's Riverside, right? Uh, yes, I was from East Side, Levi. Yeah. Mine are 36 and 23. Whoa. 36-year-old, huh? You have a whole baseball team almost. Yeah. It's me and the old lady, and then 6 kids, and then a grandbaby. You know, we're like the Latino Brady Bunch. You know what I'm saying? She had 2, I had 2, and now we got 2 together. You know what I mean? But I don't call them my stepkids and all that stuff. I don't believe in that shit. I think when you start calling them that, you know, you're making how would you say that? You're making like a, you know, it's like a less than. You know, this is my kids, but this is my stepkids. You know, like I don't like the way that sounds. You know what I mean? To me, it I don't know. It gives to me. I don't even know how to say it right in words, but it makes the kids look like they're just kids, and there's no meaning to stepkids to me. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all the years that I've been around these guys. You know, I have 3. I have 3, and my other 3.5. What? I have 3, and my 3, 6 total up. Yeah, I don't know if that is cholo. You can fix it better. What I mean by that is, let me know. Retype it. It makes them feel like they don't belong. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they know who their real dad is, and he's been around a little bit, hardly at all. But I don't look at them like that. You know, I get them school clothes just like the other kids. You know, and everything else. I don't look at it like that. You know, I remember how my I don't even like saying stepdad, but my sister's dad, you know, what he made me do and what he had me involved with. I can't see myself doing that with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, he used to go to bars and different places like that and have me in the car waiting for hours. You know what I mean? I could never do no shit like that. Give me Vicodins and stuff like that at a young age, 12 years old, 13 years old. I couldn't see me doing that to them. I can't see myself doing that to any. I can't see most of the stuff the guy did to me. I can't see me doing that to them. No way. No way in hell. It's not right. I know better. You know, he knew better too, man. Just to lie and get away with the lies. I was a scapegoat. You know, take him. You know, and you know, what he should do was he had me with like a TV. You know, he would have me with a TV, nice Walkman. You know, I have my own VCR. You know, he would hook me up with those things, but then he would use it as a manipulation tactic. Like, you know, I'd have to lie and stay lying for him to my mom. Otherwise, I'd get punished where I couldn't watch TV. You know, even to go see my pops, my real father, I would be given a time, an hour, one fucking hour, and I had to be in that gate by that hour. And if I came in that gate 2 minutes late, he would punish me for some bullshit. And I'm talking a minute or 2 minutes late coming in the gate. You know, I could be on the property in the front yard, but I had to be in the gate, the backyard, going in the backyard to put my bike in there or whatever. You know what I mean? It's fucked up. I can't see myself ever doing shit like that to a kid, man. You know, I was a teenager. You know, I became a teenager after a while, you know, but still, you know, 11, 12-year-old kid, I couldn't see myself doing that. I know I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? It's a form of abuse. You know, it's a mental abuse. You know, it's emotional abuse because you're being kept from, you know, to go visit my dad. I got a time limit. You know, what kind of shit is that? You know, and then I wouldn't say nothing because I didn't want to cause problems. I didn't want argument to kick off, or worse, you know, my older brother showing up and kicking his ass, and then, you know, my sister's dad. So I always kept that, you know, that meant something to me. I didn't want it to hurt her, you know, and cause problems like that. You know what I mean? Let's see. I met my wife. She had 2 kids, which are mine, plus the 3 we had together, and 1 from a previous relationship. Yeah, so you're kind of like me. Yeah, that's what's up. I never liked that step stuff here. Yeah. Well, in his case, I don't say dad. I stopped using that word a long time ago because I just say my sister's dad because he wasn't, you know, he taught me a lot of bullshit. You know, he taught me, even though he hadn't been in prison, he really never done jail time. I mean, I know he went to jail a few times for like DUI and stuff like that, where he did like 2-3 weeks or maybe a month or 2, a couple different times. I remember something like that. But as far as a hardened criminal with felonies, and nah. But he taught me how to stick and move. Like, in other words, you know, we didn't have it like that growing up. You know, we were poor, and you know, we didn't have too much to eat, stuff like that. But you know, he would work it where like he would call like Jack in the Box and Burger King, and he'd be like, "Oh, hey, I got this order the other day, and you know, this was wrong with it." And he would just, you know, he would get his burgers and stuff like that. Which now, in a way, you know, we were broke, so in a way, you know, he fed the family, but teaching me those things, you know, like buying something from the flea market and then going to the store and purchasing it, and then changing out the shell of it, like the top VCR, you know, the top part, you know, changing that out so that it's still new, but the inside of the guts were the older ones. You know, he would do that type of stuff. So he, you know, I learned a lot of stuff like that from him. You know what I mean? And then also the lying, you know, always lying to my mom, and always having to back up his stories as lying ass stories, and you know what I mean? All that shit wasn't cool. You know what I mean? That's what's up, C-Dog. Thanks. I don't say stepdad either. That's a rotten man. Yeah. I'm glad I grew up in a decent family. Yeah. The truth is, well, my parents split up with me. My parents split up when my mom was pregnant with me. So you're talking 1978, right? They split up, and then uh, I used to go visit my dad pretty much every weekend. As far as back as I can remember, 4 years old, I was always over there every weekend. He lived in another town where we had to take a 30-minute ride on the freeway, 40-minute ride to get to a place because my parents moved from the Bay Area, which is like Oakland area, and they moved to the Valley. They bought a brand new house, and then my mom and dad weren't getting along, and my dad just split. He left. He said, "This is it. I can't do this no more." Unfortunately, like I said, my mom was pregnant with me, so I never got to see my parents together, living together. By the time as far as back as I can remember, it was just me and my mom in this big house. Um, and even my oldest brother's 16 years older than me, 15 years older than me, and then my middle brother's 12 years older than me. So he was around a little bit up until I was about 6 or 7, and he was gone. And like I said, me and my mom were in this big 4-bedroom house. That my dad left it to her, and then he moved back to the Bay Area, and so I was going over there every weekend to visit him. You know what I mean? But when he lost his job over there, he had a Teamster job. He lost the job. They moved back. They had two. It was called the MDS, Marathon Delivery Service, and they had 2 locations, West Oakland and LA. And what they did was they shut down the West Oakland trucking. They I don't even know not the headquarters, but the office right there, the business in West Oakland, they shut it down. So I know my dad was down there for a while picketing, and like I said, they lost the contract, or not the contract, but the company ended up leaving Oakland, and they think they just concentrate on LA only. And so my dad ended up losing his place after a while, and then he moved back to the Valley with my brother. Or no, with my aunt, I think first. My uncle and aunt. What's going on, Bigg? What's up, Timo? Say my brother. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody again. If I don't get back on here again before tomorrow, remember, everybody, be responsible. No drinking and driving. If you have to, make sure you got that Uber on speed dial or a taxi, or you just better walk, because it ain't worth it. You get behind the wheel. I don't care if you only live 2-3 blocks from the location you're at. It ain't worth it. Don't take a chance, because a lot of these cops will sit there and follow you thinking they got something. You know what I mean? It is what it is. People think about it, So yeah, the job shut down. He went back to Tracy, but just, who does that? Who here I am asking to go see my dad. I'm asking the guy now who's living in, my stepdad, right? I don't like using that word. And, oh, you got an hour, so if it was 7, so right now it's 7:03 over here in California, he would tell me, okay, be back at 8:03. 1 hour, and then figure it's going to take me about close to 10 minutes to get there, 10 minutes to get back. That limits me to 40 minutes only. I go and talk to my dad, and I end up leaving like pretty much in the conversation because it's only an hour, and I ride all the way back home, and then I walk in the gate at 8:04, 8:05, and you're talking about a week punishment, 2 weeks punishment. It's crazy. And then he used to use the VCR and the TV like that he put in my room for me, and they were old people, good condition, as far as the picture, but they were old models. And my sister, who's only 3-4 years old at the time, she's got a brand new RCA TV, brand new 4-speed high, or not, what were they called? 4-speed, forehead. What are those VCRs called? Forehead. And then they had some other stuff on top of it. VCR Plus, a Panasonic or a Samsung or Toshiba. She had some good shit, man. And here I got the beat up shit. It still works, but the problem what I'm getting to is that, he played games with me where, I had to, oh, you can't watch TV. Oh, you can't listen to your digital fucking Walkman. You can't do this. You can't do that. You know what I mean? Punishment for a week. Like, the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers shouldn't be doing that to no kid. Send by Big Lou. All solid ones in the chat. What's up, Rich? Rich DM 650. Rich DM 650. DM stands for what? Digital marketing? I've seen them with my own eyes. I stay away from them bars. Yeah. Oh. You were only allowed 1 hour? Which you wrote, yeah. How did his stepdad get away with that? Because I never opened my mouth. I never told nobody. I didn't. I was as a kid. I kept a lot of shit in. You know what I mean? I didn't. Whatever I say, whatever I saw, whatever was told to me, I never indulged it with nobody else. You know. That's a good one. Don't mess around. Hope everyone has a blessed Turkey Day. If you celebrate it or not, try and bless someone. Yep, exactly. Yep, Thanksgiving. It's all about giving. You know, if you see somebody there, you know, they got a sign, give them $5, man. What's $5? You know what I mean? That you really can't even buy nothing to eat with $5. Like, you know, you can only, you know, you can get like a meal, but I mean, I don't even think you get a meal with $5 nowadays. You know, you can go to McDonald's, get himself a dollar soda and, you know, two jumbo jacks or something like, or not jumbo jacks, two McDoubles or two McChickens for like $3.99 or something. Let's see. You know, you're gonna be sitting in jail until Monday when the holiday's over. That is if they don't count Monday as part of the holiday too. Well, what Timo say? Richie filmmaker. They blockers are gonna be out this weekend, and Monday is a long way away. Timo about ready to watch this Warriors Clippers game. Hang on, my son. Yeah, what time does it start? 7:30. Jamie Tusavez, and they will not care if they leave you in that trunk tank. Jamie Tusavez means you know, just in case. I'm not sure where you're. I think you're from. Jamie, you're from Virginia. Aren't you from like Virginia? I'm not really sure, but don't get mad at me if you're not. Oh, that's sad. He should have not. He should have had put you in that situation at a young age to be lying like that. Oh yeah, man. These guys would go to flea markets, and these guys would start drinking literally 8 and 9 in the morning, and I'd be sitting in the back of the truck in the bed. The guy we used to ride with was named Old Man Tom. He passed away, but he had either a Mazda B2000 truck, or was it? Yeah, it was a B2000, I think. And then he got a Ranchero later, a '67 Ford Ranchero, which is like a El Camino, but it's the Ford version. And I would be in the back. These guys are already drinking. I'd be in the back, not buckled in, because at that time it wasn't illegal yet. I'm on the freeway, and these guys, like I said, would be. I'm like, who would do that? Why would you put a kid in that situation? Now me thinking back on it, I was in a fucked up situation, man. You know, now I wish he was in jiu-jitsu. You do know all stuff for politicians and sports and entertainment, Hollywood, all the distraction, scripted. I still educate my mind when I'm not working. Yeah. Yeah. Richard Dowling, respect always Big Lou. Richard Dowling, get at me, man. I give you my email. Did you get it? Oh, Pennsylvania, my bad. And was that Spanish? You were saying, yeah, that's Spanish. Tu means you, and sabes means no. See, in Spanish, the verb changes, right? So the verb sabe would be saber, Saber. That's to know. That's what that means. To know. But when you're talking in person wise, like I is yo, you is tu, him is él, her is ella, them, if it's boys, ellos. If it's girls, ellas. If it's boys and girls, then it would be the ellos because the masculine takes over. We is nosotros, and then you guys would be ustedes, right? So for each one of those words I just told you, the verb changes. So the verb from the beginning is saber, right? S-A-B-E-R. But then when you say I know, it'd be yo sé. You know, tú sabes. He or she knows, él or ella sabe. They know, ellos or ellas saben. And then we know, nosotros sabemos. And so it changes. And that's what all the verbs. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm glad I speak Spanish. I learned it on my own, though. It wasn't taught as a kid. Not even baseball, jiu-jitsu. He will be kicking your butt in a couple years. I don't know. Rich is a pretty big dude. I know Rich in person. I met him in person. He's not a small guy. So I don't know. I don't know how big his son is. Timo, he wants to start football. Oh, he wants to start football. Maybe he's a big kid, but he already in ninth grade. He a big boy. Okay, see there it is there. He a big boy, bigger than me. Oh shit! I spoke before. I should have read. So he's bigger than Rich. So Rich is not a small dude at all. So if his son in ninth grade is already bigger than him, he's a big kid. Because like I said, I know Rich in person. I met him in person. He's not a small guy at all. My daughter's boyfriend lives here with us, and he's Cuban. So he's my translator. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I'm Puerto Rican, Cuban, but I grew up on the West Coast. So, I'm similar to the Puerto Ricans in New York and Florida, New Jersey, Chicago. I mean, as far as some of our, the culture stuff, the attitudes, you know what I'm saying? But as far as my get down, not my get down, like it's not my get down, but my style is I grew up a Mexican. So, I'm more don't get me wrong, I represent Puerto Rican to the fullest. Everybody knows I'm Puerto Rican. As you can see, look, I got my flag hanging on my mirror, I got my chain hanging, right? Puerto Rican flag, and then I got my boxing gloves over here. You guys can see that. I represent Puerto Rican to the fullest. My nickname is Boricua, so everybody knows that I'm Puerto Rican. Everybody knows when they speak of my family, they say, oh, Puerto Rican so-and-so. Like my aunt, Puerto Rican Cat, Puerto Rican Joe, Puerto Rican da-da-da. All my cousins, you know what I mean? But Cubans and Puerto Ricans are from the Caribbean. They're in the island, right? And a lot of times Puerto Ricans and Cubans, they call themselves cousins. You know what I mean? Me personally, I don't know that many Cubans because no, I take that back. Because Stockton, where I live, they got, back when they opened up, when they did that deal when Castro sent all the Cubans here. So, from the storyline of Scarface, Florida got a bunch of them, Cubans. They released from the jails, from the prisons over in Cuba. And then here in Stockton, we got a bunch of them. And so they, right away, they got involved with the drug business over here, and they started pushing, and they became well known, a lot of them, by name. Block Control. Yeah, I blocked it. It's still there. My daughter's boyfriend. Okay, I already read that. Softball brother is where it's at. And Travel Boy is where it's at. Good shooting. Timo, yes sir. Man, Big Louie, bigger than me. LOL. He teaches me mostly swear words. Thanks for the little. What did he say? Hijo de la gran puta. What did he say? ¿Qué carajo? What did he say? Cómete la mierda, cómete la tierra, stuff like that. He's just heading down wrong path right now. Not going to school, getting in trouble. Oh yeah, you got to cut that shit out. You got to get there. You got to get with him and get him to understand. I don't know what he's involved with. If he's smoking weed and stuff like that. But at some point, man, you got to have him. Because I don't know really how much you've been involved with, Rich. I don't think you've been in really trouble. I could be wrong about that, but at some point you need to have him watch some of these channels, man. You know what I'm saying? Hear some of these stories. Our first baby mama is half Puerto Rican and Mexican with color eyes. She's from El Sereno. That's an LA area, ain't it? El Sereno. So gotta keep an eye on him. LOL. I wish I knew more of the language. Where are you growing up? If you don't mind me asking, Rich. Over here in the South Bay. All right, Big Lou, have a great night. Yeah, you too, Rich. Get it, talk to that boy, man. Get him to watch some of these channels and hear some of the dirty politics and some of the dirty things you got to do in there. You know what I'm saying? Peace out. Also, Timo, Richard, and chat. I try to jump in later. Gotta go. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna be on much longer. Rich DM 650. Respect. Peace out. Happy Thanksgiving. I don't know how to spell them. Just say them. Kick it with your boy. It starts there, my boy. Yeah. Hit the like, peeps. Yep. Thanks, Rich. Yeah. Enjoy your day tomorrow and get in your boy's ear, man. I mean, really, you gotta. You're the pops, man. You gotta do it. Yes, Los Angeles, and my wife is Native American. Yeah, Native American. Doesn't she not like to be called Indian? Because technically they're not Indians, they're Native Americans. Because when Christopher Columbus landed in Puerto Rico and landed in, Dominican Republic, which they call Hispaniola, which is Spain, which is Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's one island, they share it. And then you got Cuba, Jamaica, all that's over there. When he got there, he thought he landed and found India. So when he sees all these people there, he started calling them Indians, which they're not Indians, they're Native Americans. They're the indigenous people, the natives of that land. You know what I'm saying? And same thing with Mexico, all the Central America countries, South America, there was indigenous people there already. Spaniards did not discover shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't, no disrespect to Italians, but I don't understand what the big deal is with Christopher Columbus when he didn't even sail under the Italian flag. He was sailing under the Spanish flag. You know what I mean? And he did not discover the world. Come on, it's all through the books. It's all through, they could prove, by all the writings, the sites of the astronomy and everything else that they were there long before Spaniards or, in some cases Portuguese, other cases Italians. They found places like Brazil is Portuguese. They speak Portuguese, right? They were conquered by Portugal. Angola in Africa, they speak Portuguese. You know what I mean? And there's other places too, like Belize. They speak, even though it's in Central America, they don't speak Spanish. I mean, some of them speak Spanish, but it's like West Indies kind of, the language they speak. She don't mind. Yes, my wife is pretty and beautiful. Yeah, she don't mind being called Indian, huh? Most natives don't like that because they're not Indian. Like I just said, they're not Indians. It's all said and done. Indians are from India. Punjabi Indians wear the turbans, and the Hindus, they put the marks. Those are Indians. You call them diehard natives, that they get mad. Yeah, they militant, all right. You call them diehard natives, that they get mad, huh? They military, all right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess so. Well, yeah, like I said, especially the ones in prison, they don't dig that shit at all. And that's another thing too. I don't get is a lot of the guys that claim to be natives. I'm not saying they don't have native blood because we all, if pretty much all of us Latin countries, pretty much got native blood in us. Just some have more than others, but a lot of the guys that claim native in the pen, they have last names just like mine, just like other Latin people, and they don't want to claim that they have Latin blood in them. That they're whatever you want to say, Latin or Hispanic, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But their last name will be Martinez or Hernandez or Areola or Areola or Arredondo or Velarde or stuff like that, and they don't claim. They'll refuse to admit that they got Mexican in them, or they'll a lot of times they'll say Spanish. I got Spanish because, and there's really not no way to know because Spanish, that's where we get our names from because again, when the Spaniards hit, it was all indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? Just like with the native on the U.S. soil, there were Native Americans here, so they end up giving these names Jackson and Johnson and Jordan and and Myers and all these different last names that they didn't have. They just had White Horse or Thunder Bear, stuff like that. And they changed everything. The Europeans, changed everything. There's a statue of Columbus in a park here in Pittsburgh that has so much graffiti on it because it pissed a lot of people off that it's even there, and they took it down last year finally. Yeah, I just don't get that though, because Italians, like you see in the Sopranos, a lot of Italians, they want that Christopher Columbus Day. They honor Christopher Columbus, but I mean, he's Italian, flying. Why is he flying why is he sailing under the Spanish flag and the King and Queen of Spain instead of sailing under the Italian flag? I don't get that. Why they accepted that? Why and why he's considered some hero when he didn't discover none of that part of the Caribbean, just like Cortez didn't discover Mexico and Ponce de Leon didn't discover Florida or Puerto Rico, because Ponce de Leon is the first governor of Puerto Rico. He's not the first voted in governor. He's the first governor though. But back then they just had power to put somebody in place. There was no democracy. You know what I'm saying? The first governor of Puerto Rico that was voted in was okay, I'm gonna get the name confused because he has a son and they both go by two last names. So one is Munoz Marin and the other one is Rivera Marin. What they got going on here? Oh, I thought there was an undercover cop stopping this kid on a bike. I guess they know each other. Anyways, he is definitely a fraud. That's my ass off. Because he got money back in from Spain. Yeah, but something must have happened for him to leave Italy, what I'm saying. Even if he got the money back from Spain, yeah, obviously they gave him the boats and they gave him the troop, not the troops, but the sailors that go with him, soldiers. I don't know if you want to call them soldiers, sailors, obviously, right? The manpower. They hooked him up with the manpower. They hooked him up with the fleets, the boats, and all that. But what made him leave Italy, though? You know what I mean? Because you got to keep in mind, at this time, Italy, France, Spain, England, they're all, their own powers, at the time. They had their own kingdoms and people in place as leaders there, you know what I mean? So what made him leave? What made him leave Italy? That's what I'm wondering. They were one of the first Spanish soldiers that settled in San Juan. I came to find. Who was one of the first? See, my name goes back to the first settlers here. Oh, okay. DeVille? Yeah, I do remember. Yeah, because the last names back in the day, okay, so for example, Rodriguez, Hernandez, all that, Cortez, it was originally the Spanish names was de Cortez, de Jesus, de la Cruz, de whatever. You know what I'm saying? There was de before, just like your last Deville. I don't know how to say that in Spanish though. If it was de Ville, I guess it would be Ville. Ville, right? Deville in Spanish would be de Ville. Yeah, so when you say that, that makes a lot of sense to me. Hard to admit, though. Hard to admit it? What would you admit? They were one of the first Spanish soldiers that settled in snow. I can't find. My name goes back to the first settler here in the Bay. You call them Indians, that is. You call them Indians, that is, brother. Huh? You call them Indians, that is, brother. What does that mean, Timo? You call them Indians, that is, brother? I don't get it. All right, Jen, hit the like and have a blessed day tomorrow. Yep, likewise again, Rich. Natives were here already. Yes, they were. Cholo, America was spelled America back in the day. Yeah, probably. Hard to admit it, though. He lowered his boat with degenerate people wanted out for some reason. Nah, it's another name, local, but I don't want to put it. Okay, that's fine. Alta is what the last name starts with. Okay. Lucky Loco. Here we got a Native American right here. Lucky Loco. Let me ask you a question because we're talking about Columbus, landing in Puerto Rico and Cortez landing in Mexico and Ponce de Leon landing in Spain or Florida. That the natives there already in all those locations. Obviously they were here in the United States, but Native Americans don't like to be called Indians, right? I mean, how do you feel about that? Because I've heard numerous people say that they're not Indian, they're natives. You know what I'm saying? And Indians are from India. And the reason why that's all confusion is because when Columbus landed in Puerto Rico and Cuba and all that, he thought he landed in India. So when he sees these people, he gives them the name Indios and call them Indians. Indios translate to Indians, but not Indians. They're natives to that land, indigenous people, right? So, Alta Pass. Yeah. Cholo. Thanks, Cholo. Yeah, we're not Indian. Yeah, see, Lucky Local, Native American. He has his own restaurant. I know he's doing videos now. I've been watching his videos. And he says, yeah, we're Native American. I didn't realize what time it was, but I got to get going. Thanks for the good conversation, everyone. Yeah, likewise, Jamie. You and the family, enjoy yourselves tomorrow. Damn, I just dropped your phone. And be safe. You know what I'm saying? That's the most important thing. Be safe. They are actually buried on the University of Santa Clara. I come to find out outside the Mission Church here. Yeah, the Spaniards were all through California. They're the ones that named San Jose, Santa Clara, Santa Cruz. What else is over there that they named? San Francisco, San Carlos, San Mateo. San Luis Obispo. Anything with San or Santa Barbara. All those different names. Those are all saints. San and Santa means saint. So when you see San Mateo, that means Saint Matthew. San Carlos, Saint Carlos. San Francisco, Saint Francisco. San Jose, Saint Jose. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly if they are my direct descendants, but my name is not really like other names. They're not like those names. What do you mean? Spanish names? You're saying it's got its own, it's an uncommon name? I think that's what you're saying. Lucky Local. What band or what tribe are you from? I still gotta find out. I still gotta find out they had a big family of soldiers. Martinez and Gonzalez. Yeah. So your last name is not even DeVille. All this time I was thinking Timo DeVille. I was trying to figure that out like even before when I'm thinking DeVille. You know what I mean? I'm thinking your name's Timo but Timothy, right? I'm thinking maybe you're a white dude and you learn the slang, DeVille. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? But now now I know. I'm Pau Pau Kachin. I don't know how to pronounce that. No disrespect. First Nation. Okay? That's what's up. And you guys are out of where? Washington or Arizona, Utah, where you guys, California. And that was another thing, when they found that when the United States started growing, in these states, and they started moving the natives from here to there and back to there and here. They were playing these guys like yo-yos, and then put them here. And the U.S. Army says this, and the Texas Rangers says that, and da, da, da. And, Congress says this. There was a lot of crap back then. Vancouver Island. So that's Washington, ain't it? I know there's a Vancouver in Canada. I know there's one in Washington. So yeah, it's you thought I was Weddle. Well, I didn't know about Weddle, but maybe mixed, or what I'm saying? Because the fact your last name, I was trying to figure that out way back when. I heard about what the Catholic Church did to them kids in Canada. I don't know what they did. I'm a light-skinned Mexicano brother of Trianian blood. What's Trianian blood? Trianan, Trianan blood, Tejano. So that means that Trianan blood is Tejano. Lucky knows what I'm talking about. I heard about what the Catholic Church did to them kids in Canada. So they must have been native kids, natives then, right? Yeah, Canada has a lot of they got a lot of native too, a lot of Native American. I met a couple in prison that were from their tribes were from Canada. They killed native children. Oh, what? When was this? This ain't nothing recent, right? I spell check fucking me up, brother. Tell me what that means, though. Yeah, they sent them off to the schools. Oh, okay, I get it. Well, what does that mean, Timo? The Trian, this right here. How do you say? I don't even know how to say it. Trianon blood. What does that mean? Yeah, they sent them off to the schools. Yes, they do in Canada. Yeah, they sent them off to school. Oh, back in the 80s, 90s. Messed up, brother. Yeah, no. So what was it supposed to say? So you like Little Joe and all that. You like Tex-Mex music, Freddie Fender, and stuff like that. Uh, if you don't know, uh, the what you call it, they had a big influence on Tex-Mex music has a big influence from the polka, German polka, the polka music. I watched a documentary on some old school Mexicanos, Tejanos that were Tejanos in the music scene back in they're old timers now. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember these guys' names, but these guys were around in the '60s and shit. Maybe even late '50s, and they were legendary Tejano musicians. You know what I mean? It wasn't Little Joe or them dudes. These guys were before Little Joe and La Familia. But Little Joe was mentioned in the documentary, and I think Freddie Fender might have been too. But definitely Little Joe. They talked about Ramon Ayala because I think Ramon Ayala. I'm not sure If Ramon Ayala is really, if he's from Mexico or if he's from Texas. But I I want to believe he spent a lot of time in Texas. If he's not from Texas, mom and dad grew up in Texas, worked the field from Nebraska on down to Texas. That's what's up. That's the thing, man. A lot of the old school people, man, they were workers, bro. They had to work. I mean, because of all the struggles that they've been through, that's why they got all these laws and rules when it comes to labor laws. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people were being worked like dogs, like animals. Not like dogs, but like animals. Well, yeah, some dogs work, like the sheep herders, sometimes dogs, pack stuff, for hiking and stuff like that. So yeah, but more like animals, you know what I'm saying? People were doing all, just nonstop backbreaking work. You know what I mean? I remember hearing stories about guys taking up, on the docks in Texas, and then they came to the Bay Area. Actually, I don't know if Texas has any docks. These people were from Texas originally, but I want to say now that they were in the Bay Area when the story was happening. But the guy was telling me about his dad and how his dad used to. No. Actually, it was him. How when he was a young man, how he used to pack all those bags, which were like they look like concrete sacks. That's how, like potato sacks, but they were heavy. You know what I'm saying? They weighed like 80, 90 pounds. And he would put 2 on each shoulder and then take them up the ship. Just imagine at the stairs of the ship, how steep that is with all them bags on your shoulders. You're talking 80 pounds each, on each shoulder. So you're talking about 160 pounds plus your own weight, depending on what you weigh when you're walking. You know what I mean? The oldies were being sung by Freddie Fender, Spanish oldies. They grew up in Jim Crow times in the 30s and 40s in Texas. Your parents? Damn, Timo, so you're up there in age, bro. I mean, not this is not talking shit. I'm just saying, like, you're probably what, your 50s, I guess, or older, maybe older. I'm not sure because you're saying your family in the 40s, 30s, and 40s. That's your parents or your grandparents? My dad's whole family moved out to the Bay in the 60s. They got tired of the racism. Yeah, that's what people don't understand, bro. Like, even though Latino people, we went through the shit too, man. You know what I mean? Because we're bringing a foreign language around, right? We're speaking a foreign language to some people. We're listening to a foreign language music, right? It's loud. We're loud people. Latinos are loud people. Puerto Ricans are very loud. Mexicans get loud too. Italians are very loud. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm speaking of this, I'm speaking more of the more of the light colored people. Blonde hair, blue eyed type people. They didn't dig that shit. 50 local. Yeah, okay. Jeez. So you're older, a little bit older. So yeah, but those were when you said where was it at? You said they grew up in Jim Crow times in the 30s and 40s in Texas. You're talking about your parents, or is that your grandparents? Because I'm 44. My middle brother's 57, and my other brother's wait a minute, is that right? No, that can't be right. No, my middle brother's 55. 55, yeah. That sound right. Yeah, he's born in 67, so he's 55, and then my oldest brother's 59. And then our parents are mom's 76, and pop's 80. Well, he's 79, he's going to be 80. You know what I mean? So they grew up they're born in the 40s, they're 50s babies. You know what I mean? My parents, my mom had me when she was 42. Oh, okay. So my mom too. My mom was 41 when she had my sister. My sister's 34 now, right? 34, born in 88. Yeah, she's 34, and my mom had her at 41 or 42. Yeah, it's a trip. That's a trip though. A lot of Latin people will have their uncle and aunt the same age as a grandkid. You know what I mean? In other words, the mother and the daughter, or even the son, but most times it's the mother and the daughter, they have kids around the same time. and the uncle or the aunt is just like, a month older than the nephew or niece. You know what I mean? That happens a lot in the Latino culture. You know what I'm saying? I know my sister-in-law. I know she went back to Puerto Rico one time and not met, but she went and they took a picture, and it was her dad's siblings, and her dad was already like had to be like in his 40s already, and he had, he was like now he's 70, 79, 80 years old too, but they had him. Let's see, at that time he was like maybe the fifth oldest, something like that, and his father was still having kids. Man, they were still babies being born, and he had kids already in the 40s and 50s. You know what I mean? Old boy was just putting in work, man. He had like, I think he had two or three different wives. You know what I mean? Just like my great grandfather, my grandmother's father, he had kids from another lady. Then he met my great grandmother and had like 18, 19 kids that lived. No, like 17 kids that lived, and they had a couple that died. I think they had like 19 altogether, or 20, and a couple of them died. But even before he met my great grandmother, he had like 8 or 10 kids from another lady. And when he married my great grandmother, he was 30 years old, and my great grandmother was 15. And my great great grandmother took them down because my grandma had the marriage certificate, and he was born in 1885, and she was born in 1900, and this was 1915 when they got married. And my great great grandmother had to go down there and sign and give permission for my great grandmother to get married to my great grandfather. And my grandma had the marriage certificate on her wall. It was blown up, and they got married in San Mateo. Milpitas. So they went from whatever. I don't know why they went all the way to Milpitas, because they lived in Oakland. You know what I mean? It's just weird. It's just a trip how things were back in the day, where an older man like that would be giving a teenage girl her hand, by her parents. You know what I mean? That's like my family, brother, crazy. They were popping out kids like crazy. My mom and dad's family had 10 kids each. Yeah. Cholo's 38. Okay, Cholo, cool. But yeah, that's, nowadays that's weird, right? Great grandfather 30, great grandmother 15. You're talking double her age. That's why he was able to pop all those kids like that, because she was young. They started out. I don't know how old she was when she had her first one. I know my grandma's oldest sister, what her name is. I know she's the oldest, but I'm not sure when she was born. You know what I mean? But it's a trip. It's a trip. How that was, they allowed that. Well, I mean, anytime the parent gives the permission like that in court, I guess it's okay then. You know what I mean? But still, thinking about it now, if that was to happen now, he would be called all kinds of different things, right? But I guess back then it was different. I'm not sure where she was sat in, in the ages with her siblings. And she was one of the young ones, and she was born late in life, and her parents were old. I don't know. You know what I mean? But some of those things come into play when, when the mother's, when the daughter's given to a man, you know what I mean, like that. And maybe it was like that for Puerto Ricans back in the day, where, it was arranged marriages. I don't know. You know what I mean? But again, nowadays that would be weird, right? It would be weird. We don't know the situations. And I'm not gonna lie, it's my family, but that is weird. You know what I mean? For back then, back then, I don't know. We're talking 1915, so that's 107, 108 years ago. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was like then, what the Puerto Rican culture was about that. Was it arranged marriage? I don't know, because the reason I'm saying that is because I know my great grandmother had a strong Taino blood, which is the native people, Puerto Rico, Taino, 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 and she has strong blood of that. A lot of her siblings look native big time. They had that certain look to them. And then my great grandfather, from pictures I've seen of him, sometimes he looks European. Not a lot European, but maybe mixed. But he definitely looks like he can have a lot of indigenous blood too. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it was something like prearranged, or something. I don't know. My mom and dad's family traveled together to like work the fields. Now yeah, exactly. California want to pass a law about 12 being with the 21 or older. Oh no, fuck no. Yeah, I heard some shit like that. I heard some shit like that. That they're saying basically that it's not a crime. That it's more like your sexual orientation. Some bullshit, some nasty ass shit. You know what I mean? Something like that. That yeah, basically, uh, so it boils down to like, it's not pedophilia no more. It's a sexual orientation. Some bullshit. I heard something like that, and I tried to look it up, and I couldn't find nothing though. So I don't know if it's just some crazy wacko shit that some of these conspiracy people, right wingers, because they come up with some way out shit sometimes. You know what I mean? Uh, I'm not saying that I'm not a Democrat. I voted the last not this last election, but 2020, and I registered as independent because I do dig some of the things that the Republicans say, and vice versa. But I'm not with all that whacked out far right stuff and that far left stuff. You know what I mean? Like like the bathroom thing. Oh, I'm a man, but I feel like I'm a woman, and and I'm gonna use the women's bathroom. Well, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? With our little girls in there, no, that's not okay with me. Then I seen the other day Disney came out with this gay character. Excuse me, teenage boys, like a gay character, and Noel G, the actor played Hector in Fast and Furious. He said something about it. He got a lot of backlash. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like when you put those stuff in commercials and TV, kids stuff especially, uh, I don't think they should be hearing that stuff or understanding any of that stuff. They need to, like, okay, that's your kid, that's your responsibility. You need to pay close attention to what's going on, and if you see signs of things such as that, then that's where you need to step in and talk to them, and then try to get them some professional help if possible. I mean, if you can afford it, if that should be the answer. Not, I don't think that you should let your little boy dress up like a girl or your little girl dress up like a boy. I don't know, man. It's I don't know. 1 year they picking cotton in Texas. The next they be up north working on picking other veggies. Yeah, that's how it works. I got into it about that Confederate flag, and the widows were all on my ass. Did you see it? Where at? What channel? What channel was it? Well, when you think the Confederate flag, that's the first thing that comes to most people's mind is racism. But remember, the general had I think that's what it was called. The general was from Dukes of Hazzard. The car, they had the Confederate flag on them. I don't feel them old boys were racist, but Weeby on Weeby's channel. Oh, you know what? No, I didn't catch that, but I heard about what was going on. I heard Weeby talking about it the next day too. Just popping in and drop a like for Big Blue. All right, Buffalo Billy, go Ronnie outside. Ronnie outside. Ooh, ooh. Buffalo Billy, where you at? You're over the pond, right? I think you're in England, if I'm not mistaken. England or Ireland. Do you guys? I don't think you guys have Thanksgiving over there, right? Or do you? If you're overseas, if you're over the pond, uh, Buffalo Billy or Rich Dowling, you still here? Let me know. Uganda. Oh shit! Come on, man. Uganda. Here goes Billy, Buffalo Billy, busting balls. He's always busting balls. No, but do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving over there in England or Ireland, wherever you're? I'm not. I don't remember where you're from. I could be mistaken about that. I heard Carlos say it one day that you were from over there. They say it. They say it. their heritage, brother. Look up heritage, Bigg. They compared us sporting our Mexican flag to that flag. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's not even the same. Because look what I got here. I got next to my name, Big Lou. What do I have there? I got Puerto Rican flag, the United States flag, and even when I my my signature, like that's right. I send mine is usually either the praying hands first, depending on who it is I'm commenting back to, or my normal one. If I don't know the person that well, then I'll put the 100% with the muscle flexing, with the guy with the sunglasses, with the fist, and then the Puerto Rican flag, the Mexican flag, and then the two cross things. You know what I'm saying? That's my signature. Uh, seven emojis in a row, right? And I include the American flag. So you can't say heritage. No, I don't believe that, because that was an ideology. What that Confederate flag represents was the South being defiant against the United States government, and it became a civil war, and it was all about slavery. You know, last time I seen the Confederate didn't have a country spot. Wait, last time I seen the Confederate didn't have a country sport, a Irish or England flag. So, it's not. I don't buy that heritage stuff. But you know what? I don't. If somebody believes the way they believe, bro, like the thing, like what came out about a certain content creator, they exposed his identity, and then they found out that he was on a bunch of sites, and it was all Nazi Germany, Gestapo, and the SS, and Hitler, and he was tied to all these different sites that was pushing white supremacy and this and that. Now, when it came to me and asked me, basically what happened was the plan was, by these guys exposing who he was and what they found as far as his behavior, they thought that they were gonna cancel this dude out for this, but no, it backfired on him. Yes, he did lose some subs. Some people did say, "Oh no, I can't fuck with a racist, da da da, white supremacist, this and that." But at the end of the day, he ended up getting more subs out of it. Getting more subs out of it, and their plan backfired. And they were pissed about it, and they were telling people like, "What are you guys, stupid? You can't see this?" Yeah, they could see it, but it doesn't mean they gotta believe it. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem, man. It doesn't mean like it doesn't, and it wasn't even the fact about believing it. It was the fact of, for me, I wasn't basing on anything that they found of the guy. I was basing it on how my interactions was with him on a personal level, on phone calls, and on chats together, in the chat and on the screen, the panel, and how he treated my two brothers, Carlos and Nelson, and any other person of color that was on the chat or in the live stream at any point. The guy never treated nobody with racist. He never said no racist words. He didn't have no racist tendencies. Now he could just be acting that way. Who knows? But I don't base it on that. I base it on how he treated me. So same thing with this Confederate flag stuff. If somebody, that's from the South, we're not from there. We didn't live through their struggle. Because let's keep it real. White people in the South are some of the most poorest people there are. When you look at people being on food stamps and all that, and being poor, the South, the whites from the South are the most poorest people there are. You know what I mean? It's a fact. The statistics don't lie. You know what I mean? So I don't, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, take that down. Or, I don't know how the guy talks. These people that had the Confederate flag, because like I said, I caught the next day, I think, or later that night, he might have went on again. You know what I mean? So I didn't catch that, like the people that were pushing, saying that whatever. You know what I mean? Heritage means it handed down, and I said it needs to stop being handed down. Lou, they say, forget about slavery, right? Why not forget about it? Big Chief flag, Yeah, we were on Weebies, and that dude came on sporting his flag, and it's disrespectful to us. And I said it for it needed to be said. Yeah, what's that guy's name that had it? Forgot his name. But they said it. Yeah, last night. They said it a few times. Yeah, it is what it is, bro. I don't really, if it's being pushed for like, yeah, slavery was a fucked up time, in our culture. Even the history books doesn't even speak about it too much. Like these people were really, treating these people bad. I mean, they were, just imagine, bro, you're on a boat, a big ship, and you're chained down and, cuffed down to the, to the board, to the boards. You can't scratch your back. You can't piss. You can't shit. You got to go right there. You know what I mean? That's, sheesh. Imagine how much disease came out of that. Poop just laying around by you. Maybe sometimes they, wet it, to clean it down. But remember, back then they only had buckets, right? So they would throw the buckets on the whatever they're trying to clean. And that was it. They didn't have no soap. I don't think to scrub or nothing like that. So just imagine all the diseases that came up from that. Just the fact that you would put human beings and chain them down like that. That's fucking disgusting to me. That's so inhumane and fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing too. Our people's Native American, natives and indigenous peoples from, like I'm Puerto Rican, so Puerto Rico, you're Mexican, Mexico. A lot of Apaches were from both sides of the border, Mexico side and Arizona, Texas side. You know what I mean? Yaqui, same thing. They were on both sides of the Arizona border. You know, and and then some of the native tribes from the United States, such as Cheyenne. I think one Cheyenne, the Cherokees. All these different tribes and the bands. You know what I mean? The stuff that they had to go through. As well. You know what I mean? You got to keep in mind that, let's be honest, Spanish language, the Portuguese language, they were slave languages, especially Spanish. I mean, look at all the countries they conquered and made their native people become Catholics. They made them learn Spanish. They made them do a lot of things against their will. And then here you go, here, take some of this, and then offered their wines and their alcoholic beverage to these people, making them into alcoholics. And then here they are selling all this, spices and gold and silver for nothing. They're working for nothing. You know what I mean? They're being enslaved as well. I think all our people's been through this stuff. So I went away and I'm staying away. Yeah, I understand. I guess dude was special. I guess dude was special. I didn't know. I guess dude was special. I didn't know it, but why bring him on? Then Weavy in Vegas said you got a problem with it, then go away. Yeah. They told you like that? Or they told anybody got a problem with it and go away? Or did they address it straight to you like that? That's a trip because you've been around their channels for a while. So I went away and I'm staying away. Yeah. That was kind of, if they told you like that, well, Timo, you don't like it, then stay away. That's kind of fucked up. It's not kind of fucked up. It is fucked up because you've been around with them for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't know what, like, because I did hear Weavy say something about I can't tell that man what to do, but yeah, you can though because it's your platform. So if he wants to come on your platform and it's offending some people, you know, you could easily tell a guy, hey, when you come on here, I don't mind you coming on here, but change that avatar. You know what I'm saying? If that's what I believe it was, the avatar, or was it a picture behind him? I don't know, but I could see that happening. Yeah, man, I that kind of bothers me too. If they told you, well, Timo DeVille, if you don't like it, then stay away. Okay, they said it like that. Anybody has a problem with it, go away. Well, we know Weevy's a country boy, right? He's a hillbilly. He's a what's the word they call him? Redneck, right? He's a redneck. Uh, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's touchy. That's a touchy situation. Lou, my mom was taught when you seen that flag growing up, you get far away from. Yeah, you're coming from a uh different aspect because your parents was around in Texas and um they seen that racist shit firsthand. Um, they got out of Dodge, came to Cali. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's I don't know. That's a little bit disturbing to me that that you addressed that and that's the answer you got. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I don't know, man. I'll probably maybe I'll talk to Weavy about it in Vegas. You know what I mean? Because as far as I know, you just like with my channel, you always supported their channels too. You know, I remember them. I can remember them as clear as day saying your name, especially in Vegas. You know, like saying your name, Timo. You know. Yeah. So I don't know, man. That's a little touchy there. That's a little bit. A lot of people all of a sudden making videos about the Confederate flag, or about what happened on the channel when they told people to go away. Yeah, right here, Timo. You say a lot of people are all of a sudden making videos about it. Yeah, response to that video. Like who? Well, like who's making response to that video? Like Weavy and what Vegas and them locked out TV for one. I don't really dig that dude. And I don't really. Well, I mean, it's not so bad that he says. I just don't like the fact that. Well, it's not so much. It's not that I don't like him. It's just I think that a grown dude shouldn't be doing some of that content. You know, like big Lance from off the yard. You know, he's critiquing him on what he says and what he does, and I don't know. I just don't think that the video he made about that was helping in any way. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go ahead and tap out on here. He's always on the dude's nuts. Ooh, locked out TV. I just barely seen a video from him on Lance, but I remember him from like a year ago or so. Um, and I even thought he was Latino for a while there, and then I seen his face more closer up, and I realized that he wasn't. Uh, and I think he's from another state too, ain't he? I think he's a Sureño, but he's from a different state, huh? If I'm not correct. I mean, if I'm correct, he's from like another. I think he's from like Oklahoma or some shit. Oklahoma, maybe not Oklahoma. Maybe I'm not sure where he's from. You know where he's from, Timo? I don't think he's from Cali, but I think he banged. He used to bang South Side, I believe. Georgia, huh? Wow. That's a trip, man. I just tapped in because I'm using the avatar right here, but then on the YouTube on the other phone, it's not showing the avatar yet. And I put mute on this one to put the volume up on that one, and I'm barely at the part where I'm talking about my sister-in-law and her dad having brothers and sisters that were infants, you know, like little toddlers. And I said that about, I don't know, a long time ago. I talked about that. He's still active, he says. Yeah, active making videos. Come on. Yeah, I mean, do they? I guess they allow that in Georgia, but you're not going to be talking about, you know, well, you know what? I don't know, man. Who knows their politics? I know the California politics is a no-no. You know, that's why I don't try to go into details about anything. You know what I mean? I try not to go into details about active stuff or anything like that. If I mention anything, it's usually, you know, back more in the, you know, back in the day more. I mean, what I mean by that is like 20 years, 30 years back, and this stuff is all in the internet where you can find, you know, anything I'm saying has already been documented on the internet. But I won't go into like names and stuff like that, or even names of the organizations, or even break down anything about the organization. You know, I just don't do that. I don't think anybody should be doing that. You know, now people are starting to realize that they shouldn't have done a lot of the stuff they did. You know what I mean? But that's each his own. You know what I mean? So, yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and tap on out. I've been on for 3 hours. Time flew again. I got a little bit of washing to do again. I washed last night, but I messed up and I had another bag. Plus, I had some T-shirts that I wanted to throw in there, and I didn't get to throw them in. And then I found another bag yesterday when I was of dirty clothes when I was reshuffling some things around. So I found those. So the last wash is at 8:30. The machines go off. So it's already 8:07. So I got to get my butt over there. That being said, Big Lou tapping on out. What to do with Big Lou? NFZR2, baby. And I'm gonna say like always. First time you come into the channel, be sure to sub, like, and share. And what to do with Big Lou, NFZR2. Be sure to leave comments. I respond back to all the comments. Also, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the time with your family. Make those memories with the little young ones, with the old ones. You know what I'm saying? Who knows how long they're going to be here. And also, be safe. Be responsible. You know, don't drink and drive. Please, people. Get an Uber if you have to. Call a taxi. Walk. If you can't get an Uber or taxi or have a designated driver, walk. It's more, I don't give a shit how cold it is outside. At least you'll be out. At least you'll be free after that. Because if you get in that car, I don't care if it's just a couple blocks away, anything can happen. If you don't believe me, go watch Sticks' video. Shouts out to Sticks from Stay Awake TV. His cousin gets out of prison. They're celebrating his return home. They go to the bar. He figures I only live 4 blocks away. I'll be okay. No, he ends up wrecking. Cousin dies. He goes to jail. Almost went to prison over it. And he changed his life from there. So shouts out to Sticks from Stay Away TV. Go check him out. Shouts out to Harvey. Harvey Talks Prison. Thanks for coming on. Go check out Harvey Talks Prison. Go check out Adam at Aussie Prison Stories TV. Go check out Sea Dog and Cooper Podcast. Shouts out to Chepe. Go check out Frank's Vibes, formerly known as Frank's Positive Vibes. Go check out Weevy's World. Go check out Vegas Profiles. Go check out Buzz, Yard Recall with Buzz. Go check out Off the Yard with Lance. Go check out Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Go check out Genghis. Go check out New Age Plug, excuse me. Man, couldn't get that out. And also, yeah, that's pretty much it. If I forgot anybody, it wasn't done purposely. It's just a lot of names to remember. You know what I mean? I think I did a pretty good job. Oh, yeah, iTalk. Go check out iTalk. If they only knew, go check out Latin Pain. With that being said, peoples, booyah. Adios. Que te vaya bien. Buenas noches. We have y mañana. El Día de Pavo. Celebrate it. Be cool about it. Be responsible about it. Love them loved ones. That being said, gone.